everybody, and welcome to Good Morning Xbox. I am your host, Axel1324.
And I'm Cool Cat Terry.
Oh my god, it's so ghostly it didn't even come through. Wow, it's creepier than even before.
Forgot I was muted.
Yeah, it's all good. Somehow you managed to make it creepier than before. That's crazy.
Know.
Check this out, guys. Wow. This is the post-Halloween episode. And of course, that means Dreadful is back because he's done working his favorite job, which is scaring the piss out of people.
Oh, I'm never done.
Yeah. Speaking of which, Dreadful, how did the board end up? Did your account board?
It was a close tie. Pretty much tie, yeah.
A tie between what?
Oh, it was tie between myself and the Mother of Mayhem.
Like how many people you got to scream or how many people you got to pee?
How many cups we had to collect off of pee and...
Gross. Oh, man. At least you guys had a good time. Has Tiny Giant made anybody do that yet?
No, but she scared the bejesus out of a few of them. Creepy girl. Creepy little girl. And her scream,
I'll say.
She's got one of those Hollywood screams.
Yeah, and she right now, because she's so young, she has that kid voice, which is like kid voices to me are more creepy than adult voices are.
Right.
You know? So, yeah. No shining for me. No, thank you. So, yeah, guys, let's check it with the iconic chat. Let's see. Of course, we got my buddy Doggy Dog 420. Thank you so much for joining us. By the way, guys, if you wanted to ever see Doggy be a merman, be sure to check out Iconic Video Games replay of last Friday's episode. It was amazing. You're Wicked Hot joins us. Thank you so much for joining us. You're Wicked Hot. You are the real MVP. And yes, it is going to be a great show. Let's see. Princess Zelda is here. Shout out to Princess Zelda. Thank you so much. She became a beautiful fairy on Iconic Video Games, so be sure to check that out. Crazy Greek Dude is here. Saying, thank you so much for joining us, Crazy Greek Dude. You are the real MVP. He says, good morning, time change. Yes, thank God. I needed it. Good morning to my favorite merman, Doggy Dog 420. That's right.
You forgot one. You forgot one.
Which one?
That one.
What? Who is that? Is that
Tiny Giant?
That's Tiny Giant?
Yeah.
All right, hold on. Let me hear it again.
Do it again, Tiny Giant. You can do it. She's like almost in the other room.
Wow. Ear piercing. That's crazy. That's crazy. Shout out to Death Dealer. Thank you so much for joining us and being our makeup guide on Friday. That was awesome. Crazy Simmons Gaming TV. Thank you so much for joining us. You are the real MVP. He says, good morning, Xbox. And of course, Death Dealer, you are also the real MVP. Jacob Novik joins us. Thank you so much for joining us. You are the real MVP. He says, hi, I lost my bank card, so I need to call my bank to lock in and get a new card, but I found it today in the same wood bowl that my cards are always in. It had been under a postcard the entire time. Oh, man, I hate it when that happens. And you can't turn it back on. It's dead, man. It's dead. Sorry, man. Now you got to wait the week. Shout out to Eternal Shaddai. Thank you so much for joining us, Eternal Shaddai. Enjoy that overtime. You are the real MVP. Not just here, but you are the employee of the week for all that overtime you're doing. But guys, another crazy week. Terry, what have you been playing?
I'm trying to think. What was I playing? Hold on. I remember what I played last week. I played.
Someone get Terry some coffee.
No, it's just like I play games and then like for only the beginning of the week, and then the whole rest of the week I don't play anything, so I can't remember what I did like a week ago.
We're gonna need you to start keeping a journal.
No, I'm not gonna keep a journal. I remember I did some more Call of the Hunter, or Way of the Hunter. Excuse me, there's too many hangers. I did play some more Way of the Hunter, and I did play some. Hold on. I also played some Asteros.
Okay.
And then I started playing Word Tales. So there, that's why I played.
War Tales?
Yeah, War Tales.
War Tales.
War Tales.
Okay. That's interesting. I never heard of that game.
We'll hear more later.
We'll hear more later. All right. Dreadful. I know you've been super busy, but did you have any opportunity to play this week?
No, we've actually been doing some more of the last minute haunted houses after Halloween.
Yeah.
Plus the cleanup. I did get a chance to, and I'm drawing a blank too, because even last week I was playing and I couldn't remember what I was playing. So I'm in the same boat with Terry when it comes to I can't remember. I want to say I popped on some Starfield, but I didn't, which is very odd because I usually pop on for a little bit, do a little play, but I haven't even done that. So I can't even recall what I've been doing when it comes to gameplay. So my bad, guys.
Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah.
Let's
Ghostly hands can't hold a controller.
Ghost hands can't hold a controller. That's right. Haven't materialized enough there, Casper. Let's see. Doggy Dog says he was playing Mortal Kombat 1, Forza Motorsport, and Spider-Man 2. No, he's talking very highly of Spider-Man 2, by the way. Dan, the man Cunningham, joins us. Thank you so much for joining us. Dan, the man Cunningham, he says, morning all. How's everybody doing today? We're doing great. Thank you so much for asking. And Cray Simmons TV says he's been playing Spider-Man 2. So I finished Starfield early in the week. I finally made it to the Unity, and I played some of the New Game Plus, and wow, that's a good implementation of New Game Plus, I'll say. But I didn't want to play it again. After over 100 hours on it, I'm like, okay, it's time to switch it up. What should I play? So I'm looking at the backlog. And I'm like, and I'm looking at my PlayStation 5. I'm like, I need to justify this purchase. I got to play myself a PlayStation 5 game. So I went out and I was looking for Final Fantasy VII Remake. And at the same time on Instagram, I saw a ad that said, hey, if you buy Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which I want, get a free digital copy of Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrate, which is the PlayStation 5 version. I'm like, let's see about this free. I bet it's like an $80 version or something, right? I go over, nope, just a pure $70. And I'm like, sweet. So that's what I bought, downloaded it onto my PS5, and I started Final Fantasy VII Remake, and man, the nostalgia, the upgraded nostalgia, I can see, yeah, I'm into it. It's great. It's great. It's a fantastic, I am really into it. I can see how people, I mean, I've always liked Final Fantasy games, but 7 is my favorite. It's my number one on the ranking of Final Fantasy 7. So yeah, it's great. So that's what I've been playing. And I know there's an Xbox show. I'm sorry, but yeah, guys, come on. I'm a gamer. Princess Zelda, she's been playing the OG Fortnite. If Princess Zelda ain't playing Fortnite, I don't know what she would be playing. Because it's not my Princess Zelda if she's not playing Fortnite. So let's get right into it, guys. Let's get into the topic. So up first, we have some Call of Duty campaign. Is Call of Duty already paying the Xbox tax? So the campaign is not doing great, but I really haven't heard a lot of people speak anything great on it. It's really short, they say, and they only reviewed the campaign, not the zombies modes or the multiplayer modes or anything like that. Only the campaign. And it's not sitting pretty, guys. It's not sitting pretty on the meta. It's not sitting pretty on the Open Critic. And from the voices I hear online, it's not sitting pretty at all. So, is it paid Xbox tax or is it just a bad Modern Warfare? Now, remember, Modern Warfare 1 and 2 scored incredibly high. Modern Warfare 3 is not scoring very high at all. What do you think, Terry?
I mean, I think that when it comes to the campaigns for Call of Duty, I haven't played this one, so I can't really say whether I don't have a take on it personally since I haven't played it.
Mm-hmm.
But looking at past experiences with campaigns on Call of Duty, the campaigns in Call of Duty have sucked for many years. And most people who play Call of Duty never even boot up the campaign. That's why they stopped doing campaigns for a while. because most of the players don't even play the campaign. So it's, I mean, it's Call of Duty, it's a campaign. You know, you're going to have some of the hardcore people like myself that only like campaigns in Call of Duty. And then you're going to have the mass majority that don't even care that there's a campaign. They'll never play it. Even if it's the best campaign in the world, they still will not start that thing up. All they care about is PvP. So, it's going to be hit or miss. I feel like if you want to play it, play it. If not, then, don't.
Okay. So you don't think the ratings are good or bad? You just think they are what they are?
I think they are what they are because, like I said, the campaigns have not been that amazing for Call of Duty in a long time. You know, when people think about, Call of Duty campaigns, they go back to the old school when you actually had, stories and you had, moments, like pulling the knife out of your chest on the beach at the end and throwing it at the bad guy. People remember that stuff. No one cares about these modern day campaigns. And then there's nothing memorable by a single one of those stories. Nothing. No one cares.
All right. So Modern Warfare and Modern Warfare 2 are highly regarded as probably the best Call of Duty campaigns. Modern Warfare is really what eclipsed Call of Duty over at the time was Halo 3. So I mean, it's I understand they have Black Ops, the Black Ops, the Ghost, the other ones. I don't even remember what they are. But Modern Warfare has always kind of been that hey, when they pull out a Modern Warfare, that means that they spent a lot of time on it, and this one just doesn't give them that. Dread, Modern Warfare 3 is a letdown by Modern Warfare standards, according to a lot of people who have played it. What do you think that people maybe are holding on too much to the greatness and aren't accepting the campaign by itself?
It's funny that you say that. I think part of it is it's a combination. It's not just one thing or another. I think a lot of it is basically when you look at it, it's the same old, right? But again, it's not. It's something new. I think the other aspect you got to remember is Xbox tax. Now that Xbox own them, we've called that out before. We've already seen it too when it comes to games that were highly rated, and as soon as they came out to Xbox, the games were downplayed.
Yes.
Look at Major League Baseball, right? When they did that, it's the same Sony studio. It's the same format. They just updated the game. They updated the rosters. They tweaked it out like they always do when it comes to sports games. These minute tweaks that don't really affect the game in any negative way, but usually is more on the positive side to fix issues that things that they didn't get to before and put those things in, right? So when you look at it like that, it seems to be that a lot of the negativity is because now it's associated with Xbox, even though Xbox has nothing to do with this.
Nothing to do with this.
This is all Activision.
Yeah.
Right. So, and unfortunately, I think that's part of it. And again, people get tired of sequels. So once you have so many sequels, it's just like it's the bland blah blah blah. So I don't know if that's got something to do with it, but I think it's a little bit of everything. You put all these different ingredients in, and you eventually end up with this type of cake. And if it's the same type of cake, eventually you're going to grow tired of that cake. Even if it's chocolate cake, you might want something different when it comes to the frosting. If you want buttercream, or you want cream cheese, or or no frosting at all, you just want a more like a chocolate brownie style. Who knows?
Don't listen to that. But, my wife, I love Tres Leches cakes every time, no matter what. Never get tired of them.
But that's the thing though, is you want the variety, and whatever you're getting here, you're getting an updated storyline from the classic, right? So and they're adding stuff to it, so it's not literally one for one like, I don't know, the other side's rendition of a remaster / remake.
Right.
It's a one for one with just a visual upgrade. Okay, great. This isn't it. They add more to these. So the story isn't exactly one for one, So again, it's like, I don't understand why people get get too, I don't know, team rah rah rah. Now that it's, you know, stuff like this is on the other team, that you're going to have to negate the fact that they did so well with what they do. And again, it has nothing to do with Xbox, but they're going to blame Xbox.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate. You shouldn't be doing that.
All right. Well, there you go. Call of Duty getting the bad treatment. Now, when I buy Call of Duties, I only play the campaigns and zombies. So I am a little sad that the campaign is not as revered as Call of Duty Modern Warfare 1 and 2 were. Especially because, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 should be longer than 3 hours. Like, I understand that it's $70 for the game, but now that Warzone is out, it kind of devalues the multiplayer aspect included in these yearly releases, in my opinion. And so I do believe that what Call of Duty has going for it now is going to be the campaigns and zombies, and they need to start taking care of it. So maybe Call of Duty won't release on a yearly basis anymore. And most of the multiplayer will come over to Warzone. And I understand the regular multiplayer is still here, all that good stuff. You get it for that, but most everybody's into the battle royale these days, especially the free to play. You can't really, $70 for multiplayer versus free to play multiplayer. Which one are you picking? So yeah, I'm a little sad about it, but is it paying the Xbox tax? I don't think so, not yet. But will it? Absolutely. You bet your bottom dollar it will. So let's see what we got here. Of course, gameplay by Gamers Little Playground. Let's see. Shout out to the Graphic God. Thank you so much for joining us. You are the real MVP. He says, didn't one Call of Duty not even have a campaign? Yes. I believe it was one of the Black Ops, if I recall. So let's see. The dealer. Terry's going right for the throat of Call of Duty. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. Splendifer says, I'm a Black Ops guys, but Modern Warfare 2 and 3 on the 360 were my stuff. They were his. Yeah, a lot of people's. And shout out to Splendifer. Thank you so much for joining us. You're the real MVP. He said chocolate brownie as soon as I cut a piece of brownie. The ghost knows, man. The dread ghost knows where you are at all times. He sees you. He sees you reaching. He's like, look at him. He's even in red. He's like Santa Claus. He's Santa Ghost. He's holding so still. Crazy. Dessert for breakfast. Shame. Splendiferous. You got to try it for yourself, Axel. Don't listen to anyone, man. Of course I'm going to try it for myself. I'm just a little sad that it's not acclaimed. There's just something about some of your favorite games not getting acclaimed. It makes you a little sad. Let's see. Jacob Novik comes in. He says, we got a statement from Phil about Blizzard, and it's worth noted that even if we say ABK, it's called Activision Blizzard from the last merger, King is excluded, but Phil only said Blizzard. Well, I mean, he did say it at BlizzCon, from what I understand, right? Let's see. And what did it get rated? Let's take a look. We go to OpenCritic here, as I think they are more fair than Metacritic, as Metacritic will let anybody, literally anybody, rate their games. And I don't know if Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 is rated on the aggregate sites. There it is, 3. Let's see. So OpenCritic has not given it anything, but they are saying that IGN gave it a 4 out of 10, which is to me like a completely unplayable mess. But this does not look like an unplayable mess to me. Just being honest, it doesn't look unplayable. It looks pretty polished, pretty good. And then 5 from Season Gaming. And that's it. Only 3 reviews so far on the campaign alone. So there you go. That's what it got. All right, let's see. Black Ops 4 didn't have a campaign, and I skipped it. Yeah. Some people buy the campaign. It's important. If you're going to charge me full price, it better be a complete game. Just saying. And the complete game to me is the precedent that was set by the games before it. So if the future product is lesser than the previous product, I'm not buying it. Just saying. Right? Am I wrong in that, Terry?
No.
All right. Good. And shout out to General Spartan. Thank you so much for joining us. You are the real MVP. Graphic God. I'm the only review that matters. And of course, love from the MVP of my life, my beautiful wife. She's there too. Let's see. And that's it.
To answer Graphic God's question. So IGN, you said just rated this new one a 4 out of 10.
Yeah, the
4
campaign.
out of 10. The campaign of 4 out of 10.
Yes.
IGN rated Black Ops 4 an 8.5, and that had no campaign. So that answers that. That's for your question there, Graphic God.
Dang.
It's because Xbox had nothing to do with it back then. That tax.
Okay. Yeah, that is true.
Think about it. I mean, yet again, no campaign versus campaign, and yet you're gonna say it had no campaign, but yet we'll still give it this, and then here it is with a campaign, and you're going, it's bad, and yet it looks like it's fully playable.
Yeah, no bugs, polished. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe the cost to what's the word I'm looking for here? The cost to product ratio is that bad? Maybe.
Doesn't make sense.
Yeah. So we'll see. All right, let's move along. Let's move on to some Gears news, as I know Terry loves Gears.
I do like Gears.
That's right. So let's move on to some Gears news. So Cliffy B, the creator of Gears of War, has said that Xbox should reboot Gears and that he has a couple of ideas. And in my head, I'm like, maybe you should go work then instead of just, being a mouthpiece. But we'll get into my opinion last here. So Gears of War, of course, it got released way back in the launch of the 360, which was what, 2007? No, 2005? Right? And it looked amazing back then. And of course, they did the Ultimate Edition, which looks even better. They upgraded the Ultimate Edition to 4K graphics. So, the Coalition has kept the Ultimate Edition alive. But after Gears 5, they say that Gears needs a reboot. Terry, seeing as you love Gears of War, what do you think? Should they reboot? Get rid of the Kate story? Or not the Kate story, because the first one was about JD. The second one is now about Kate. I'm going to guess the third one is going to be about, what's his name? Dominic? Oh, who is the last new character? The new generation of Gears?
I don't know. I don't know. But okay. So I went on a huge rant years back for Gears of War and how the story officially ended after 3. And my whole rant was about how they were going to find a way to just milk the franchise because Gears makes them a lot of money, and they're not going to just let it end like it should. And so they made 4, and 4 was meh. And then they made 5. 5 was meh.
Oh no.
But I mean they're still good. I still recommend people play them, but it's clear that the story was over, and they're trying to find a way to keep it alive. The story is over, man. Like they got rid of the what was it? So the whole story was, the locust threat, and then they decided, the locusts are gone, so let's just create another enemy with the hive that is exactly the same thing as the locust. They came from the same place as the locust, but yet no one knew about them. Like, how? It was the stupidest thing ever. It was the biggest plot hole they created. It was just dumb. And then, so yeah, I don't like the idea of the reboot. The only reason why they're going to do the reboot is because the story is over. So all they can do now is just retell the story a second time to try to make more money because the story ended on 3. It's done. It's done. Okay, you're going to, they're going to milk it to death to the point to where people aren't even going to like it anymore. Just leave it alone. All right, the games are still highly playable and they're highly enjoyable. They, did a beautiful remaster on the first one. And so just leave it alone. Just leave it alone. I could understand if it was a franchise that we haven't had access to for like 20 years, then bring it back by all means. But we've had constant access to all of these games. They never went away. We don't need to reboot it. We'll leave it alone. All right, you're going to take something that is perfectly fine and has been, it was given the love and care and TLC to keep it relevant. And you're going to break it. They're going to ruin it. Because what's going to happen? All right. If they reboot it, the characters aren't going to be the same. They're going to decide, you know what? We're going to try to make this guy more edgy, or we're going to make this guy, more politically correct, or who knows what the heck they're going to do. They're going to do something. They're going to ruin it. Just leave it alone. Just leave it alone. Okay?
You have no faith that the coalition can reboot Gears properly.
I have zero faith that the Gears that we enjoy will be the same Gears if they reboot it. Okay, they're gonna F it up. Coltrane is an amazing character, and they'll probably make him, less entertaining. Who knows what they're gonna do? It's just gonna be terrible. Just leave it alone. Just leave it alone.
All right.
I am 100% against rebooting Gears. Just leave it alone.
All right. So Terry is on the Gears is perfect. Leave it alone train.
Not perfect. Just leave it alone.
You said perfect.
I did not say perfect. Leave it alone.
I just heard the word perfect come out of your mouth just now.
Just leave it alone.
All right. All right. Dreadpool. Dread. They rebooted Halloween. Sucked. They rebooted Friday the 13th. Kind of sucked. And the movies. They've rebooted a bunch of horror movies that were perfection. Horror movies. They sucked. Are you for rebooting Gears of War the way Cliffy B wants to?
No. I think Cliffy B is a great creator. I think he's too much into, and you have to be cocky like that, but I think he's too much into himself. You have to be a little bit more humble with what you've created, and I think with him doing that, I think that's the part of he's trying to retell the story. And if he was going to work for Microsoft or Xbox, he had already been doing that. And obviously they don't want him. They don't like his ideas. They don't like his direction that he's been trying to push, because he's been talking to them already in the interviews. He's already stated that even as a creative, I guess, idea guy for the IP, they didn't want anything with him. So again, their direction and his direction are two different things. So and that's the thing, they've done so many reboots of other games that it could be done well, right? Let's look at Resident Evil, with Resident Evil 2 and 3 and 4.
I don't think it's that hard though to reboot tank controls. Just saying.
No, exactly. Well, that was the whole thing. This really isn't tank controls. They've already, through the generations, mastered how this is going to be. Now, when it comes to storylines, that could be anything. We don't know what the storylines are. When you reboot, are you closing up plot holes? No, you're retelling of the story in a different way. And you look at how let's look at Star Wars, right? You got the original trilogy, which by most standards was perfect the way it was. And then you look at the prequels, and this is from the same creator doing it. And a lot of people from the original trilogy did not like it because of the way that it was done. People grew up with the prequels, preferring the prequels over the original trilogy.
Right.
Then you have
the new. Reboot.
the cartoons,
Mhm.
right? The CGIs. And people grew up with those and didn't even realize that there were movies,
Mhm.
right? So now you look at all that and you see that there's 3 different demographics here. This could be the same scenario here, that it could be 3 different demographics. And now, as you were leading into, which was I was going to get to,
Mhm.
the newest trilogy that came out, and unfortunately, the directors decided that they knew better than the original storylines, and they literally changed it up so much that one director did an homage um, to the original trilogy
Mhm.
and how it flowed,
Right.
and people had issues with that. But it was like, why? It wasn't the same story. It was an homage to the storyline and to those characters, and bringing it into something new. And this is what they were going to lead the way with the next set of movies. And then you got the idiot director for the second movie of that last trilogy. He decided he didn't like how it was going, so he changed it all up. Star Wars. Talking about Star Wars.
Yeah.
Move on. These phantoms come in here talking crap about stuff.
Phantoms.
Don't even know what they're talking about.
I know who
But
you're talking
again,
about. Yeah.
yeah. So this director comes in and changes it up, where they go back to the other director and he has to clean up the mess, which is why the last trilogy, they're actually talking about rebooting the trilogy because of all of this, and this is the same thing, where if Cliffy B comes in, he's going to change the storyline. He's going to change their direction that they were doing. Yeah, so there might have been plot holes, but that was because, again, when you have different directors and not the same cohesive person or group of people collecting and keeping it cohesive enough, when George Lucas was doing the movies, um, everything fell back on George. He knew everything. He wrote his outlines.
Mhm.
He wrote everything, so those plot holes weren't really there. You thought they were, but they weren't until you get more developed into those storylines. So a lot of that's cohesive. Now, what are we going to do here? We're going to switch it up and start over and try to fill up plot holes that somebody else put in, or you might have thought there was a plot hole, or they were leaving that on purpose so that way they can explain the story later on. We don't know.
Mhm.
And then when the next director comes in, the next team, they don't like this and they want to change it up. Well, now you just literally created that plot hole that was left intentional to be filled in later on. So what are you going to do? You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't.
Mhm.
And for this, I don't see Cliffy, as much as I respect him and I think he needs to do another type of game. I don't think he needs to be involved in Gears, because I think he will change it to a direction that they've led away from, and trying to either bring it back or do his version again might not be what everybody's looking for, and that could be very detrimental to the franchise. So let them figure it out. I don't necessarily see a need for a reboot. Just continue on with another storyline.
Yeah.
You look at ODST for
Yeah.
Halo.
Side
That was
stories.
another story.
Yeah.
It was another storyline. They did the same thing with this.
Well, they
It
did the
didn't
same thing
hurt
with
it.
Gears Judgment. They told the
Yeah,
Damon Baird story, Team Kilo.
right. And a lot of people didn't like it, just like ODST. A lot of
Are
people
you
didn't
kidding me?
like it at
ODST
first.
and Gears Judgment are amazing on their own.
Right.
Yeah.
For what they were, because they wanted to play as Master Chief.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. When you want to play as Master Chief and you're playing as Orbital Shock Trooper, why? Okay, it's just, you can't.
Mm.
You're just going to have to deal with what it is, and that's going to be the same situation here. It won't be the same people. It won't be the same loved people. Marcus Phoenix was a legend, and what are you going to do? Bring him back? You're going to create a new storyline, a new love life, a new relationship with other characters. It's not going to fit right.
Mm-mm.
You know what I mean? And just like Terry said, some of these characters are beloved the way they are, and they can just ruin them because it's not the same character anymore. And if you don't have those characters in, you're going to have different characters. So why even reboot? Just do it as a different storyline. You can go back into the past. It's happened before. You've had prequels. Do that. How did we lead up to this that they didn't show for the storyline? There's got to be some side stuff.
Yeah.
There,
So
there's more to
so
stuff.
Dreadpool is a no reboot team. Team no reboot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am also on Team No Reboot because Cliffy B needs to shut up. Like, I love that he created Gears. Like, don't get me wrong, I love his creation. But when Cliffy B made his millions, he literally does not have to work another day in his life, and he has said so. Okay, those aren't my words; those are his words. So, create something new, like I don't know what the name of his battle royale game was. Something that might work. Lawbreakers, yeah. Create something new like Lawbreakers, except put some love into it this time. Or leave it alone. Like, you sold your creative rights. They don't need you anymore. And when you sold your creative rights, you kind of need to let it be what it is, right? Like, you divorced, you got your alimony, move it along. Just saying, move it along, man. I like Gears the way it is. I don't think they could retell Gears 1 was the setup. Gears 2 is where the emotion started. I don't think they could do Maria any dirtier than they already did. I don't think they could do Dom any more legendary than they already did. Man died a hero. Okay. I don't think they could do the expression on Marcus Phoenix, how the wars took the toll on him, and it showed at the end of 3 any better. I don't think you could introduce a new generation better than they did. The story did have a little bit of plot holes. If you didn't follow it, you would be kind of a little lost. The whole, the dead locust that got killed by the machine entered a chrysalis phase like insects do and came out 20 years later. That was a little hard to grasp if you didn't pay attention to the story well. I think it could have been told a little better. Gears 4 to me is probably the when it comes to story, it kind of tells it the most broken way. But Gears 5 was a masterpiece. I'm sorry, a lot of people hate the Kate storyline, but I'm loving the Kate storyline. The whole, Queen Mirror, not Queen Mirror, that's Aquaman. The whole Queen storyline and the whole related to Bloodline story with Kate. It's just an incredible story if you pay attention to it. And if you actually collect the collectibles, they go more in depth into it. You're not just collecting random cogs anymore. Like, if you go collect the collectibles, it's actual lore you're collecting. I like all of that. And I thought Gears 5 was a freaking masterpiece. I'm sorry. I loved that game. And it was my game of the year for the year it came out because it was that damn good. I enjoyed it that much. The Horde mode, I loved it. How you could pick any character, or how the character you picked had to play a certain role. I enjoyed that too, instead of everybody going full offense, So yeah, it was just, the Gears is in a good place right now. And I do like the side stories. I like the Baird Team Kilo storyline back in the early days of the war before Marcus Phoenix. I like the I wish that if they wanted to make different Gears, they could give me the Pendulum Wars. I mean, because the Pendulum Wars were talked about for a long time, right? They still talk about them. And I really have no problem with things like you said on Halo when they did ODST. I loved ODST. In Halo when they did Reach, I love Reach. If you love a franchise, I'm not saying you need to love everything about that franchise, but they haven't messed it up, is all I'm saying. So yeah, you gotta. I feel that rebooting Gears would be a giant mistake. They need to finish the story they started with the new generation. And frankly, the only people that care for rebooting Gears are 40, 35 and up year olds like us. 40-year-old people, 35-year-old people, in Dread's poll case, 90-year-old people. I mean, it's just, we're the older generation. The young generation does want that new Gears with the neon lights and the cool technology that doesn't make sense. Whatever, it's cool. Who cares about realism? Dark and gritty. That was cool when we were kids. We had the whole grunge phase in the 90s, in the early 2000s. It was dark and gritty. And I don't know if you guys remember, but the Xbox, if you wanted to make, on the Xbox 360 generation, if you wanted to make kind of apocalyptic style games, you had a lot of blacks and browns. That's not the case anymore. If you want to make apocalyptic games nowadays, they can be fully colorized. The apocalypse doesn't have to be destruction or apocalyptic or dystopian. There we go, dystopian. If you want to make dystopian games, they don't have to be browns and blacks anymore. The world has moved on and we need to move with it. And I want to see where the story goes. I want to see this new queen, what she does to the people, because she will, I guarantee you, she will mess them up. And that's what I want. I want to see where it goes from here. Anybody else with me? Queen Mira. So I was right. Queen Mira. Yeah, it is Queen Mira. Okay, I thought it was Aquaman. Sorry, Queen Mira. Yeah, so yeah. And by the way, guys, I forgot his name. The Gears 5, the third person is Dell. I really feel that the next Gears 6, will be Dell. Because if you notice, they went JD, they went Kate, and I really think that the last one is going to be Dell. That's all I'm saying. So yeah, I am in team no reboot. Leave it alone. You can't do it any better than it's already been done. I think it is perfectly fine where it is. Let's see where the chat is on all this. Let's see. Jason Max comes in. Thank you so much for joining us, Jason Max. You are the real MVP. He says, just remember, Xbox is number one. That's right. They are. The dealer. He almost died twice, folks. I'm going to guess the Phantoms almost got you. Yeah. Do you have something to add, Dread? No? All right. Let's see. And they touched up the original 3 as well. Yeah, they unlocked those 4K textures. Yeah. Shout out to Lost Boomer. Thank you so much for joining us. You are the real MVP. He says, on video got changed when they put it on CD. I'm not sure what you're speaking about there, Lost Boomer. I'm sorry. Let's see. Oh, I think he's talking about Star Wars. The videos got changed when Star Wars got changed when they put it on DVDs. Yes. The whole not remastered. Was it remastered? They added the cutout scenes, they added more graphics, they added more FX, all that stuff. So yeah, I do agree. They added more to it.
Enhanced editions.
Enhanced editions, yeah. Muted. They added more THX to it. Gears 5 is the reason why I stayed with Xbox instead of going to PS3, and it's the reason why I'm still on Xbox. Hey, man, everybody needs their reason. I'm glad that Gears is your console seller. It's a good game. It's a good series. Let's see. The party after the Ewok 5, you could hear Sesame Street tune on the flutes. I haven't evaluated that much, man. I just enjoy it.
And that's the thing, right? People take issues with that. I like those Easter eggs, those little things that you would normally miss, unless you're like paying attention, and you're like, wait a second, what was that? What was this?
Yes.
These little things are important.
Yeah, definitely important. So we have let's keep going down the chat. Jason Max, sorry, it's moving around on me. Here we go. Jason Max says, I'd like to see Gears City in New York City. The Gearsverse doesn't have New York City. They had a new Euphoria? Something like that. Anyways, they already destroyed the capital city, so it's gone. Gears don't need a reboot, just a remastered. Just update that bad boy to the latest and greatest. Dolby Vision. Give me that bad boy. Give me that HDR10, right? Yeah, Lost Boomer. F Master Chief. I loved ODST. I loved ODST too. Those saxophone tunes. It's like Bill Clinton was playing him to you himself. Jason Novik, Cliff is right that we need a reboot in the same style of God of War 2018 reboot, which was a soft reboot, meaning that they rebooted the franchise, but at the same time was a sequel. They just redid. I have a problem with this. God of War, they rebooted it after he killed literally basically every god. And there was like 10 God of Wars for that, right? Because there was God of Wars on the PlayStation consoles, God of War on the PlayStation portables. There was a lot of God of Wars before they rebooted. So they milked it. Don't be confused here. They milked it. And so I'm going to use Halo as an example here. As you know, Halo's my favorite franchise here. I hate that we never got to see the end of the Reclaimer story line. I hate that they rebooted after Halo 5. I really wanted to see Rampant Cortana and fight Rampant Cortana. I really wanted to see that. And instead, I got the Cliff Notes version of it in Halo 5 when they soft rebooted to, again, humanity's on the back foot. There's no way off this Halo ship. It's literally Halo 1 again. Now, don't get me wrong. I loved Halo Infinite. I love the open worldness of it. I think it's a really good Halo game. But I hate that I never got to see the ending of that story. So if they reboot it, let it be finished. The story be finished first. Don't just throw the brakes on. Give the ending to the Reclaimer storyline in books and in audio logs, and then move on to the next thing. I did not like that. I don't approve of that. So, yeah, God of War 2018 rebooted, which was a fantastic reboot. My favorite game on the PlayStation. But they finished telling the story before they rebooted. Right? And there was no need to reboot any of the God of Wars because I don't think a single God of War had scored under an 80 at that time. They were still bringing out, they were still really good games. And none of the Gears of War has scored below an 80. I think the lowest one is an 84. So it's still a good game, good franchise. No need to reboot yet. They're not trying to save the franchise at this point. But as Terry said, they're milking it. They were going to find a way. It's already been rebooted. Let them finish telling this story and then reboot it again. So yeah, Jacob Novik wants to do a time skip. No. I want to finish the story. Yeah. Splendifer says, I felt the same way about Halo. Masterpiece. I really like the story in Halo 5. I just hate the way it was told. The new Spartan 4s are nowhere near the deadliness that Spartan 2s are. And the fact that they play the I hated that if we played a Spartan 2, they played the exact same way as a Spartan 5, and that shouldn't happen in lore. That shouldn't happen. Just saying. Reach is my favorite Halo from Splendiferous. Red Monkey Buck goes, Hellblade 2. Shout out to Red Monkey Buck. Thank you so much for joining us. You are the real MVP. He says, or make a Marcus prequel. We know that to fight the war, the government used prisoners in the very first game. Marcus was a prisoner in the beginning. Heard that he betrayed the government. Why? Yeah. Why? Exactly. They could give us a prequel. Exactly. You want those brown and blacks? Give us a prequel. There we go. Let's see. I turned 50 Friday. I'm nearly dead. Shout out to Last Boomer. Happy belated birthday. Hope it was a great time turning 50 years old. Finish the current story, then begin a new story. Exactly, General Spartan. Exactly. Gear 6 will be Kate Diaz. If it is, I think it's great. I think Kate is a great character. Yeah. I think Kate is a great character. And Shea Walker, shout out to Shea Walker. Thank you so much for joining us. You are the real MVP. Can't stay for the stream. Have a good one. Hey guys, it's okay. Whether you're here for a minute or more, we appreciate you. Be sure to give this show a thumbs up if you like it. It really helps us get discovered, especially on the live YouTube page. We really appreciate it. And just be sure. If you're looking in the background and aren't typing in the chat, you know what? You are also the real MVP. We appreciate you being here and listening. Stubbs Gaming says, hey, Dread. Shout out to Stubbs Gaming. You are the real MVP. Hey, Dread. There you go. That's all you get. All right. Let's see. Yeah. So Jacob Novik goes on saying the rebooted after the story gets an ending. Yeah, absolutely. You should. Stubbs Gaming says Gears isn't on Earth, so New York is impossible. Yeah, New York, as I said, they had that new Euphoria. I want to say it's called New Euphoria, but I can't remember the name. Let's see.
Honestly, New York is overused in so many things that I'm sick of seeing that city. I don't want to see New York.
That's right.
So-
It's time to see
so
the other
overdone, man.
really expensive city, San Francisco.
Yeah, you want to talk about milking? New York is milked to death.
Yes, it sure is. It sure is. All right. Let's see. But Terry, you know what? That's what we think. We are team no reboot. What is the chat? We had a poll. Are you there, Terry?
Oh, you didn't say to go. Okay, yes.
Yes.
So, should Xbox reboot Gears of War? 50% no. It's already perfect. 37% yes. Close the plot holes up. 6% have never played it, and another 6% give no Fs.
There you go. So we're all over the place. Everybody has opinions, of course, and that's great. Nobody's right or wrong. At the end of the day, only the coalition can decide what to do with Gear 6. So yeah. Stubbs Gaming, I kind of hope you're right here because I'm loving the new characters. Gears of War 6 won't round up the new trilogy, though. Yeah. I hope it doesn't. I want to see more of it. I feel like the war is just getting started. Just saying. Right? And I feel sorry for the planet Sarah. It's been through the grinder, man. The inside's getting drilled out, the outside's getting hammered on. That poor planet. It's amazing it can still sustain life. Just saying. Right. Just saying. All right. Let's move it along, guys. Up next is BlizzCon. If you guys didn't know, now that Activision Blizzard is part of Xbox Game Studios, we had a BlizzCon. So, guys, BlizzCon is huge for fans of Blizzard games, which include World of Warcraft, StarCraft, Diablo, Overwatch, Hearthstone, and I guess I think that's it. That's all they addressed this BlizzCon. They didn't address StarCraft technically, but yeah. So BlizzCon happened, and Phil Spencer was on BlizzCon. And he came out during the opening ceremony right here, what we're seeing live right now. Hopefully there won't be too many ads as I play it. But I'm just going to skip to what Phil Spencer said. Phil Spencer said, and I quote, "Throughout Blizzard's history, they've pioneered and refined so much across the gaming industry, and many of you today have been a part of that journey. Think of Diablo. It propelled the action RPG genre forward. StarCraft spawned the new foundation for what esports would eventually become, and StarCraft 2 was a major catalyst for the evolution of games as live entertainment. World of Warcraft changed not only how people developed and supported games, but really it introduced a much wider audience to the concept of online communities. And Overwatch not only reimagined gameplay, but also representation possible in class-based shooters." So, Phil Spencer's there, giving all the props to Blizzard. Do you agree with his statements, Terry?
I suppose. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan when it comes to like Blizzard, so I don't like majority of the games I don't play. But I mean, I do play a lot of action RPGs, and it is true that everyone compares every action RPG to Diablo.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't go as far to say is that Diablo really revolutionized it. I would say Diablo probably held it back because nobody ever wants to do anything different from Diablo. So I feel like that's holding it back. But that's my take.
What a hot take.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if everybody
I was going to be hearing this much tea this morning. Good
God.
God.
I'm just saying, if Diablo is what everyone wants to base everything on, then there's no room to do anything different. Just keep copying what's been done. I mean, how are you going to say you're improving the genre if you're just doing the same thing? You're not doing anything different. That's I don't know. That's Heck, what I don't care. I don't care what they think. I think Diablo has been the detriment to the action RPG because people can't get over themselves long enough to look beyond Diablo.
Oh man.
I said it.
Let me sit up here. Okay. Dreadpool. What do you think of Phil Spencer's statements?
It's just a statement. It isn't much. You remember, this is BlizzCon, so all he's going to talk about is Blizzard IPs and, you know, what they're going to do and present to the company. That's it. You know, it's just, to me, it's water under the bridge. I don't even pay attention to it as much. I know a lot of people are going to take to everything he says by heart and hold him to it. And it's their first go under Xbox. So a lot of it, I just see more of a welcoming, and where they can go with it, you know. So I don't think there's much to it just yet. We'll see in the future how it goes. This is just the first step. So I don't pay any mind to it.
Okay, Terry, do you remember a long time ago, we had a developer of an action RPG on here? And do you remember his game? Like, if I see the cover, I know I can find it. But I'm trying to remember, what was his game? Do you remember, Terry?
I don't,
What are you talking
because
about?
I mean I've been on podcasts where we've interviewed a lot of developers, so I honestly can't remember which one was on this on this particular
Oh my
show.
gosh, if I could turn on my was it Victor Vran, the name of the RPG?
Okay, I do remember the RPG. I have played it.
Is it Victor Vran? No, it's not Victor Vran. Oh my god. What is it? I want to say it's Victor Vran because the guy on the cover has a hat like him. Anyways, there's other Grim Dawn. That's what it's called. Grim Dawn.
Okay, that's a great RPG.
Yes, Grim Dawn. Okay, so Terry, to your point of holding back action RPGs than Diablo. So I played Grim Dawn. Shout out to that developer for hooking me up with a copy. And you want to know what makes me upset about Diablo, especially now that we're on to Diablo 4? The fact that you can't rotate the perspective. And on Grim Dawn, you can. And I got so accustomed to it on Grim Dawn that it drove me nuts that I couldn't do it on Diablo.
A lot of action RPGs allow you to do that.
Like, I don't know. It feels, as much as I love Diablo 4, 80 plus hours into it, it can learn from some of the competition. And I think some of the competition would be the rotating camera. But let's get back to the statement. So Phil Spencer, he welcomed everybody to BlizzCon as well, as did Mike Ibarra. By the way, how great is it to see Mike Ibarra back on the Xbox team? I always thought him more of a second to Phil Spencer. When he left, I was a little devastated. As I don't know if you know about Mike Ibarra, but he's more cutthroat. He's from that older generation, and he was like, take no prisoners. We're doing games our way. We're going to get exclusives. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. Screw every other console maker. We're the best. There was no kumbaya with Mike Ibarra. Not that Mike Ibarra was ever on board, but he was part of that cutthroat style that predated Phil Spencer. So, and some people really like that style, by the way. So yeah. So let's talk about the games here in order. So we got Diablo 4. Let's go to Diablo 4. So Diablo 4 is having a new expansion coming out called Vessel of Hatred expansion. Terry, did you play Diablo 4 campaign?
I did.
Did you finish it?
Nope.
Okay. Are you going to play the expansion?
Nope.
All right. Do you care any about it?
I want to, but we talked about a little bit before we went live that I love Diablo. I do, but I cannot stand Diablo 4. They ruined the experience for me. I don't have any interest playing the expansion because I can't continue my campaign without starting over. They force you to start over. And that makes me not want to play it. I should be able to come back to the game whenever I'm ready to come back to the game and continue where I left off when I want to. Not be like, oh, you have a timeline. If you don't beat our game at this timeline, screw you, do it over. No, screw you. I'm not playing your game. I'm not going to give you any money for your stupid expansion either. How about that?
All right. Terry has locked away her wallet. She is speaking with her wallet. She's not getting that expansion. So Vessel of Hatred is I can't find it. So Vessel of Hatred expands on what happened to spoiler Mephisto. If you finish the campaign, you know what I'm talking about. And it's going to introduce a new class that has never been in Diablo before. So something brand new, Terry. No real official release date yet, but Vessel of Hatred is out there. So it is going to expand on what happened to Mephisto. So a direct continuation of the storyline, in case you guys don't know. Dreadpool, did you finish Diablo 4?
Haven't even played it. Yeah, exactly. No, I mean,
I would kind of figure this would be right up your alley.
You would think, right? I just, it's funny is I played it on PC, the original, and I had a good time with all the mods and playing as the Avengers and other Marvel characters and stuff like that. I loved that part of it and played it on PC.
Deadly Alliance?
Say what?
Are you thinking about Ultimate Alliance?
No. The original Diablo on PC. I was playing with mods.
Okay, with mods.
We were doing that. Yeah. So between that and Diablo 2, I've spent many countless hours. I moved on from Diablo 3. I never played it, never touched it. And same thing with Diablo 4. I've seen so many friends enjoy it, but hate it at the same time. And I just don't want to put myself in that love-hate relationship. So I haven't even bothered. Haven't even had an interest. But I'm happy for those that enjoy it.
Well, there you go. So I like Diablo enough that I might get this expansion. Keyword being might. It depends how my wallet's doing at that time. I'm not going to commit to something I'm unaware of a release date. Because, if they release it like February, March, I'll probably get it. But if they release it like anytime in September beyond when all the games are releasing, I'm buying a game, not an expansion. Just saying. So it depends on the release date and where my wallet is at that time. But I am interested in it because, I've bought all the Diablo. I want to say I probably won't get it, but I probably will, as I have bought all the Diablos ever made and all their expansions because they're so. You're not the thing I love about Blizzard is that when you buy their expansions, you're basically buying a sequel in the same storyline. The Reaper of Souls for Diablo 3 was a long, 10-15 hour campaign, depending on how much you found out. And the fact that you could take your original character or your seasonal character in there was awesome. Hopefully they do that with Vessel of Hatred. So if they do Vessel of Hatred and they have a new character, I might just play it just because. So shout out to them. Vessel of Hatred. I will probably get it. As I said, as I have gotten all of the Diablos ever made. So except for the remake. I didn't get the remake, that one. The Diablo 2 reboot remake, as it's just Diablo 2 story. I could see myself saving money on that. So yeah, I will probably get it. So Vessel of Hatred was announced, which you'll probably see here in a while. Another Diablo 4 surprise is that they're giving it a tabletop game, much attuned to kind of like Dungeons and Dragons do, but Dungeons and Dragons originated in the tabletop form and moved over to video games. Now we're seeing it go backwards, something originated in video games and being translated into the tabletop. It's being made by Dicebreaker, I think, is the people who are going it. Cardboard into tin, allowing players to venture into Sanctuary. Yeah, so yeah, tabletop sister site Dicebreaker. Okay, no, so it's not Dicebreaker, it's just the site. But Diablo the board game is coming out. Are you gonna make your own Diablo lore and play you some Diablo a la Dungeons and Dragons style Terry, would you be interested in that?
No, I am not a fan of tabletop games. I'll do board games, but not tabletop like D&D or Warhammer and stuff like that. Like I find that stuff absolutely boring, and it takes too long to get anything done. Like I can't do it. I have no patience for that.
Oh man.
Okay. I'm the kind of person, if I'm going to do something, I want to see stuff happening. I want to get things done. I don't want to sit there and wait for somebody else to, get done, an hour later, finally decide what they want to do. No, I don't got time for that. We're going to play. Okay. Stop wasting time and derailing us from our dang quest doing stupid stuff. Like, come on.
As a side note, after your statement here, I am so curious how you and your husband's dating life went. Like, chop. Let's go on this date.
See, it's funny.
I got time for small talk. Let's get to the real questions.
D&D.
Red flags.
He plays D&D a lot because he loves it. And he has his fun, and I don't have a problem with him doing that. It's not for me, man. It's not for me. Like, one of his biggest pet peeves though is he'll sit there and he'll get so mad because he'll spend hours and hours creating a campaign. And then everybody breaks the campaign and they go and do stupid stuff. And so they wasted his time. And it's like, people, so screw that, So, yeah.
Yeah, one of my favorite things in Dungeons and Dragons is hearing how like the players come up with innovative ways of finding out, getting through these traps that the mods make. One of my favorites was like, that this god presented them a question of, one of these, one statue always lies, one statue always tells the truth, and one statue can lie or tell the truth. Which one is always telling the truth? And and instead of trying to figure it out, they tortured the god that asked them the question and forced the answer out of him. I always find that kind of stuff hilarious on tabletop. Dreadful Diablo tabletop coming out. So they quote unquote say, we're built on a new, unique gameplay system rather than slapping a Deckard Cain mask over Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition or something. So it is completely new, completely different from Dungeons and Dragons, but it is still a tabletop. Lots of tabletops have come out other than Dungeons and Dragons. What do you think, Dredd? Are you going to play?
Maybe. It all depends. I do have friends that do the board games and such. So if they have a game night and it pops up, we'll try it out. But I'm not going to go actively seeking it to play it. It doesn't really do anything for me. I'm
right.
cool. I'm cool with it. We need more variety, and not everything has to be D&D. And playing those board games that we played and the different variations, it was pretty cool. You know what I mean? So to see that, it'd be something interesting to try out. But again, I would not actively seek it unless it was already something planned for a game night by a group of people.
Okay, fair enough. So I am 100% going to play this board game, and the reason I know is because I have friends that love board game, and we have Tabletop Simulator. So as soon as someone transitions it into Tabletop Simulator, we are definitely going to play it, as I know we will. So I know I will play it, and I know I'm going to love it, as I do like board games. I just don't like being the moderator for them. So yeah, that's what I am looking forward to on it. So yes, I am going to play the board game. Guys, let us know if you're going to play the board game in the chat. We'd love to hear. Let's see. DE says, shout out to DE. Thank you so much for joining us. He says, wasn't that the riddle in the labyrinth? You ask one what the other would say, running the logic through both. Yes, that's the way you solve it. But in Dungeons and Dragons, you torture the moderator. So yeah, it is one of those things. Let's check in with the chat before we get too far ahead. Let's see. Jason Max says the coalition needs to make a Rambo game. That would be cool. Not gonna lie, that would be cool. Unpopular opinion. Let's see. This is a really long one, guys. Unpopular opinion, but if Xbox creates a multiverse XCU, a Gears versus Halo game would work, and I have wanted Gears to meet Halo for years. That would be interesting. That would be interesting. Jacob Novik also says, the 38th Overwatch hero looks like Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Excited for Hero 39, 40, and 41 next year. I hope they'll revive the story plans because Overwatch was goated, but Overwatch 2 is bad. We'll talk about that here in a while, Jacob. Let's see. The Game Complainer, shout out to them. Thank you so much for joining us. You are the real MVP. We appreciate you. Let's see. Just trying to get to something here. Talking about internet and stuff. So yeah, okay. So we're caught up on everything. A little relevant. Everything's just a continuation of Overwatch 2, which we will get into here in a little bit. Up next, though, we have World of Warcraft. Guys, so World of Warcraft announced the next 3 expansions in the World of Warcraft, a new story plan called the World Soul Saga. It is encompassing of three expansions. And I think they're doing this in response to Final Fantasy 14, how they're doing a saga. And of course, World of Warcraft has kind of fallen out of favor a little bit. So they're kind of reacting a little bit. So the first expansion is called The War Within, which will send adventurers inside Azeroth to a subterranean kingdoms where Nerubians and an allied race called the Earth and Dwarves await. And that's the one we got the most details on, guys, as it is the closest one that is going to be launched here. The other 2 expansions, one of them is called World of Warcraft Midnight and will take place in Azeroth's old world in the, oh my god, I'm going to butcher this, Quel'Thalas, where void forces have invaded and are trying to destroy Sunwell and plunge the world into darkness. If you played World of Warcraft, you know the void forces have already existing, so that's kind of cool that they're making a comeback. And the third part of the World Source Saga is called The Last Titan. And if you know about the lore of the Titans, they're basically dead. But apparently one's going to be alive, I guess. Titans return to Azeroth and players uncover a vast conspiracy about the Titans and their intentions. So there you go, guys. The next 3 expansions. Again, The War Within, Midnight, and The Last Titan. Terry, have you ever played World of Warcraft? Is this enough to get you back in, or is this enough to get you in to start?
No, and no. All right. So, yeah, no, I've never played WoW. I've always wanted to, but I never played it. So it's one of those things where this game's been going on for like 15 plus years.
I think it's approaching 20.
Yeah, it's been going on forever. Which is definitely an accolade. You know, most games are lucky if they can survive a year. Staying relevant. So for them to be going on as long as they have.
It is exactly 20 years, Terry.
20
November
years.
23rd,
Okay, so
2004.
This game's been out for 20 years. I've never played it.
19 years, yeah.
You know, I want to, but it's been out for 20 years. It's overwhelming with the amount of stuff they have. And it's one of those things where starting now as a brand new gamer, I will never, ever have the gaming experience to enjoy it firsthand from a new person's perspective, because you're going to have a million people who have played that game to death. They're going to want to hold your hand through the whole game and show you where everything is. Do this, do that, and critique every move you make. There's no way you could possibly ever experience that game from the eyes that they had when they played it for the first time when it first came out. They steal that from you. So there's really no reason for me to ever get into it. The only way I could ever get into it is if they make this like a brand new game that's for consoles, to where everybody starts at the same place, you know, all brand new, so you all get to experience a new game together, versus you being the new guy and everybody else is like, well, we've done this a million times. Here, we'll get you there quick. No, I don't want to do that.
All right. Well, there you go. Terry does not want to. She wants to play World of Warcraft, but she wants to play it back in 2004. And by the way, guys, shout out to Silk Slayer. Whoops. I don't know what I just did.
And I don't like the idea of paying to play. They can take that and shove it.
Shout out to Silk Slayer. He says, hello, Cool Cat Terry. You are the real MVP, Silk Slayer. I know Death Dealer played World of Warcraft for a long time. So she said, I wish I still had time to play World of Warcraft. Yeah. And shout out to RWK88. Thank you so much for joining us. You are the real MVP. People still play Warcraft? Yes. I have a friend who met her current boyfriend in World of Warcraft, and they are living together. So lots of love stories coming out of Warcraft. Dreadful, World of Warcraft, your your spouse loves it. She wants to play it. Are you going to get her a copy of the, what is it called again? The World Soul Saga. Are you and her going to do the saga?
No. We have lives to live. We have a family that we got to take care of. We have a house bill to pay. We don't live in grandma's garage or mommy's basement. We have our own responsibilities. So yeah, no, we ain't doing that. She's obviously played a lot more than I have. I've played on and off throughout the years.
Mm-hmm.
I've played on hack servers where you would level up every other minute, and doing that from the get-go. Replayed last year to play with Fork and a few other people from Gaming Beyond the Box at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And just never got up to that point to just playing the free copy, basically the free version of it.
Yeah. The beginning 60 levels or whatever.
Yeah. So doing that, again, it's a time suck, and it's just one of those things that we just can't afford to do. We have responsibilities. And then on top of that, if you want to play any other games, you can't. You know what I mean? So with us doing all the different things that we have, yeah, I have to stay away from it. She needs to stay away from it. So, but yeah, it's interesting. I love the stories that they go with, but I don't see us going into it.
Okay.
Only just so many different reasons not to versus to go.
Well, there you go. So no from Dreadful. I have never picked up World of Warcraft, but I've been so tempted. What gets to me is that $15 a month, and it might be more now, but last time I looked, it was $15 a month. And I wanted to play. Let's see, I wanted to play Lich King when it first came out. I wanted to play Cataclysm when it came out, and what is it? Something of Pandoria when the pandas were introduced. I thought that was cool. The Kung Fu pandas. And since then, I haven't really been into it until now. The World Soul Saga again. I am having that FOMO start to add up, and the thing is, you need a party to play World of Warcraft. You cannot play it by yourself, I don't think. So if I'm playing it, Dreadpool's playing it with me. That's all I know. So and so yeah, so Dreadpool, Death Dealer, and Tiny Giant, and me, we're all gonna go save Azeroth. We're going underground, Dreadpool.
All right. Hey, don't forget they even came back with the classic.
Yeah, they did. They did redo classic because it was being done on private servers, and they took it over so they could make some money on it.
And it didn't do so hot.
And I think they're doing Cataclysm next on classic.
Yeah, it didn't do as hot as they thought they would.
Yeah.
So but it is.
So yeah. Death Dealer says, I wish I still had time to play World of Warcraft. Yeah, make some time. Make some time, definitely. And RWK88 says, I had a coworker back 10 years ago. His wife had to ground him from the computer, so he stopped neglecting his kids. Wow. Yeah, guys, definitely be adults first. Shout out to Silpia. Thank you so much for joining us. You are the real MVP. We appreciate you. And let's see. DE says, I'm all for living with mom and pop, especially if it's a big empty house. Yeah, I mean, why not? Who wouldn't want to live with their parents? I wish I was still 10 years old and had no responsibilities. So yeah. And shout out to Crispy Rambo. Thank you so much for joining us. You are the real MVP. We appreciate you joining us. All right, so that was World of Warcraft, moving it right along. So you might have just seen it on the screen. Overwatch has a new character, Mauga, who is he is a Hawaiian native. What do they call the Hawaiian natives? I forgot.
Polynesian?
Yeah, sure. But he's a Hawaiian character, very much like they are in Oana. So he has dual machine guns. So he's playing that role. If you play Overwatch, that is, I believe, the 38th character, 30-something characters. So Overwatch got a new character, but to some people, that kind of is not enough, as they want the stories that were promised. So yeah. So Maoga, hold on, let me see. Artillery weapons, incendiary chain gun, volatile chain gun. So yeah. So he is intended to be a big bully character. So tank and heavy firepower. So some of you might love that. So yeah, there you go. Mauga, I think that's how you say his name, is coming to Overwatch. Are you excited about it, Terry?
Yeah, I don't play Overwatch. I mean, I played Overwatch when it first came out, and it was new, and it was like the hot thing, and it was fun then. But then it just became the same old, same old, same old. And yeah, I lost interest in it. You know, when you do the same 3 tasks over and over and over again, it got boring. But I don't know. I don't care about Overwatch.
There you go. And he is Hawaiian, which is a Samoan. So he is a Samoan character. Now I got it. Yeah. So let's see. Jacob Novik says, I'm not playing Overwatch 2 as much as I did before it was branded Overwatch 2 because Overwatch has been going downhill since the rebrand. A lot of people think that. And Jacob Novik also says, plus Overwatch 2 was going to have a story mode, but Blizzard canned it, which was the only reason Overwatch was rebranded as Overwatch 2. That is the excuse they gave, and now they're saying they're not giving it to you. So yeah. Dreadful, Overwatch 2 is Maoga gonna bring the customers back? Is it bringing you back to Overwatch?
Nope. And it sounds like the classic horn from the old Model Ts as a name. I'm just saying.
Oh, Maoga.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
The cartoon
I
horn.
just don't see it. If they were to have those storylines like they promised, I think it would be beneficial, especially when you add in a new character and kind of go from there. But with them doing strictly just characters and only giving you one character, where they would give you a couple of characters and kind of give you like a little backstory about them, it was, it was like, okay, but now we're going to give you more later on, and then so it is a downward spiral. I don't think it's going to be enough. I think it'll be a flash in the pan. A lot of people will probably be drawn to it, to this character, and try it out. And maybe some people will stick with it, but I think a lot of people will probably fall back on their original characters, if not fall off of the game completely.
All right. Well, there you go.
It's a
I personally have always hated Overwatch. I don't see what the big deal with it is. I've never understood it or Team Fortress. I guess hero shooters are just not for me. So this is like a nothing burger to me. So sorry if that's your thing. So yeah. Moving it right along. Let's see if the chat has anything. Nope. Moving it right along. Hearthstone, the card game, is getting the newest expansion called Showdown in the Badlands, which is kind of like it looks westernish, but at the same time Indiana Jones-ish. No, more western than Indiana Jones. So you get some new cards, some Crooked Lawman, a new keyword Quick Draw, a new keyword Excavate. You get a new horse Thunderbringer if you log in now. For those of you who play, is this going to be something that you buy now? If there is a free version of Hearthstone, but if you want to play competitively and do well, you must get the expansions. They built it that way. Terry, Hearthstone.
I can't.
card
I don't play it. I don't know. I have nothing to say about it. Like, I don't play it. I don't pay attention to it. I just know, isn't it like a card game or something? I don't know.
It is a card game,
Yeah,
yes.
I don't know. I couldn't care less about it.
You couldn't care less about it.
It's not my thing.
All right, so there you go. It's not her thing. So, so Dreadpool, Hearthstone, the card game, new expansion, Showdown in the Badlands. Are you gonna play it? If you're saying stuff, we can't hear you.
Muted again.
There we go.
I said no.
I think he laughed for a good bit there first.
I was laughing.
Yeah.
Chuckle away, and then no. I didn't say boo. I said no. Didn't care for it in the first place. I'm happy. Again, I'm happy for any game that people like. Is not for me. Not every game's for everybody. And this is one of those games that is not for me. So, and for those that it's for, I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope it's perfect for you, but nah, pass.
Hard pass. So I played the original Hearthstone before the expansions came out, and it was a lot of fun. You could just play, and winning was based on your skill. But once the expansions came out, I feel that it became pay to win because you needed the expansions to be competitive. Like, I wouldn't say that I was winning a lot. I was about a 50%, 50-50 win-loss ratio. But when the expansion came out, I was losing so much because I would play against cards with or decks of players that had the expansion and I didn't, and there was just no counter to it from the base game. So I just did not. After that, I lost interest in it as it was just not good for me at that point. I don't like pay to win. If you want to make a competitive game, that's great. But if you want to make it pay to win, I don't like it. So I stopped playing this game. So yeah, there you go. Hearthstone, for those of you that play it. Let's see. Doug says, never heard of this game before Friday. Yeah. Let's see. Is there a waiting until WoW is on console option to vote? If so, yes. No. I don't see how you make WoW into console, just being honest.
That's
here.
what they gotta
They're
make
working
a
on it.
fresh new game. Like, don't put the existing WoW on console. Just make a fresh new game for console.
You can play keyboard and mouse on your console, so it's possible.
But I would never do that. I feel like most Xbox players would never do that.
Yeah, I think if you play it on console, the whole point is to not be on the keyboard.
Yeah. Most console gamers choose console because they prefer controller.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have to agree with that statement. Like, I have my computers and stuff, and when I want to use keyboard and mouse, I use keyboard and mouse.
Yeah, like if I had to play the game WoW with keyboard and mouse on the Xbox, then I would just play it on the PC. I mean, it's pointless. Like, why? Why would I do that?
I don't know. They do RTSs on the controller.
All right, they do. I have played some of those.
Problem with games like WoW and like MMOs and things like that is there's too many buttons
Submenus.
and there's macros and all these things. You can't do them on the limited amount of stuff you have on a controller. They have to completely change the whole UI and everything to make it compatible for console.
Yeah.
Buy an Elite.
Yeah. So let's see. Sorry, guys. I pushed the wrong button here for a second. Let me fix it. Okay. So up next, and the last announcement that we're going to cover here is the launch of a new game, guys, from Blizzard Entertainment. That's right. They did launch one. It's available to download right now on your favorite iOS or Android device. That is none other than Warcraft Rumble Unleashed on mobile, as you can see. So here is the gameplay trailer. So Terry, I don't know if you've seen this game or have heard anything about it, but it is basically a land grab style game. So You gotta make creatures to go conquer some land, and the more land you unlock, the more creatures you unlock to the more powerful. And also, there's bosses. There's a story mode. There's a PvP mode. There's everything mode. Terry, are you gonna play Warcraft Rumble?
No. No. I'm not big on mobile. So I don't really play mobile games, and it just looks like any other mobile game. They just slapped a WoW on it. So like, nah, I'm good.
You're good. All
I don't need it in my life.
You're not gonna play Warcraft Rumble, huh? All right. Dreadpool, Warcraft Rumble.
No, of course not. Are you kidding me? No.
Look how cute he looks, though, Dreadpool. Oh my God. They turned Warcraft cute.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't mind the cutesy stuff. That's cool. It looks, the graphics and all that look cool. But no. I use my phone for work. I don't use it for games. I just there's too much to go on with this. Yeah, if they were to make this, I don't know, PC or Xbox or something like that, no, still no. There's no point.
I love the caveat, but it's still no.
But again, I'm happy for those that enjoy it. It reminds me, and I did try the Gears Pop, yeah. And I played against a guy named PewDiePie for some reason. I don't know if it's the exact PewDiePie or not, but we'll go with that. And it was okay. I played it because a lot of people were playing it, but at a certain point in time, you just kind of get tired of it, and it's like, all right, and then you wonder why it died. This is going to be the same situation. That I think it's going to be good for a while, and it's just going to die off. Yeah. So yeah,
there you go.
Hard pass. No.
Okay.
Don't even bother.
Well, there are many successful mobile games in this vein, so this is not revolutionary by any standard meaning. And it is very successful. Like I said, they are very successful. So Warcraft just needs to, advertise correctly, get that pay to win correctly in there, and it will be successful. It will find an audience, as there is an audience for these types of games, obviously.
You mean to spam you with advertisements like those other successful games do?
Hey, you know what? The kids love them. They're free to play, man. They're free to play. Tiny Giant loves them. So
nope.
I will probably try the game just to see what it's like. I don't know if I'll get addicted to it or anything. I do have a go-to mobile game, and it's not this, but I will definitely try it. Because it's free to try. If it's free to try, it costs me nothing except a little bit of my time. So we'll see. I'll try it. And that's BlizzCon 2023 in a nutshell. To me, the best announcements came from World of Warcraft. To me personally, that was my favorite announcements. Maybe the Diablo 4 Vessel of Hatred as well. What were your favorite announcements out of that group that we had, Terry?
What was that? Favorite for what?
What was your favorite announcements out of that group that we had? So we had World of Warcraft, Diablo, Hearthstone, Overwatch, and Warcraft Rumble. Which one was your favorite?
Nothing. I don't care about Blizzard. All right, and they killed Diablo for me, so now Blizzard's dead to me.
Oh man,
I don't care about Blizzard.
Oh man, just wait till they announce StarCraft Ghost. Just wait.
I won't play that either.
Oh my gosh, really? Wow, Terry, what the
Never been into StarCraft or any of that stuff. Blizzard literally has 0 games I care about. The only one they had was Diablo, and they ruined it. So Blizzard has nothing. So screw Blizzard.
The eclectic taste of Terry have spoken. Terry, but we had a poll while you're talking here. How did people feel about World of Warcraft World Soul Saga?
So the saga, 50% said heck no, they're not going to play. 41% are still confused as to why they didn't even understand people were still playing WoW. So only 8% of people are interested in playing the new saga.
Dang.
Yeah.
All right. Well, but hey, at least there's someone. Something's better than nothing.
Yep.
Let's see. Dreadpool. was there out of the announcements? What was your favorite one?
StarCraft Ghosts.
That was not on there. That was not at BlizzCon 2023, sir.
I am making believe that they said it, that it was going to be a resurgence of StarCraft Ghost. That's why I'm a ghost right now.
Oh man,
because of StarCraft Ghost. I am blending in with the darkness of the forest. Plus, one of my favorite cosplayers is cosplaying as a StarCraft Ghost.
Oh,
So,
what is his or her name?
her name is Dark Lady Cosplay.
All one word?
I believe so.
Lady cosplay ghost, right?
Yeah. She's had many cosplays. She does a lot of Warcraft cosplays.
Is it
But
Dark
she
Lady? Yeah, Dark Lady Kira.
Yeah, there you go.
She did a lot more than Ghost. Holy crap.
I told you. She's great. And she actually got featured. I was going to interview her, and then I find out she got featured on Blizzard on one of their channels.
That's a great outfit, by the way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is the Ghost outfit. Her own take, of course, that's not what they really look like, but yeah, that is a great outfit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they Blizzard featured her on one of their videos, nice little 30-minute section. So check out Blizzard's videos, and you'll find her in one of them.
Well, there you go. Yeah, and
So
she's from Florida, so yeah.
Yeah, definitely support her. Like I said, every time Carla and I run into her, we had no idea how big she was. We just saw that, she'd be walking past, and we're like, "Oh, can we get, some video?" And we would do what we do for the cosplayers, and had no idea that she was en route to a table or en route to a panel, and then had her own table and all that. And we had no idea at first, and then once we realized how big of a cosplayer she was in the community, but she always stopped. She never. We've had other ones that were big too, that were friendly and then talk behind your back.
Yeah, I've had that.
You know what I mean? And she's never once, so we 100% support her, because again, she's never been part of the group
Mm-hmm.
of cosplayers that have where they travel and stuff like that. She pays her own way in and has her own table. She does all that stuff all on her own. She doesn't have as far as I know at that time, a membership with those groups where they pay for you to go in and pay for you to do all this stuff. She's doing it all on her own from the ground up. So
Well, she is now partnered,
props to
according
her.
to this. So yeah, good for her.
Yeah.
Good for her. It's always good to see your hard work pay off.
Right.
Yeah. All right. So StarCraft Ghost, that doesn't exist. That's what excited Dreadpool.
Yep.
All right.
The Phantom of what could be.
Of what could be. Of course, my favorite announcement has to be World of Warcraft World Soul Saga. It's very exciting, and I'm not a StarCraft player. So that is, a Worldcraft player. So if it's exciting to me as a non-player,
all right.
It certainly has to be exciting for the actual players. All right. But with that being said, guys, let's get ready for Terry's Indie Spotlight. Terry, you got one for us today?
I do.
All right. Let's get to it.
All right, everybody. So as I had hinted to it earlier, I was going to speak more on a game called War Tales, and that's because it is my spotlight for today. So for those of you who haven't been paying attention to the newest games that have come out on Game Pass, here's one that is out now. Let's check it out.
How's the wound?
Stop bleeding at least, but we're out of bandages.
Perfect. No bandages, no wine, and we're eating rats for the months.
What was it again? Easy contract, easy money, right?
Soon these will be distant memories. We'll be rich.
We're under attack! We gotta go!
Okay, so War Tales is a tactical. YouTube has autoplay back on my thing. Okay, so War Tales is a tactical open world RPG that you can play. It originally came out on PC back in April, and then it went to Nintendo Switch in September. Well, now we also have it on Xbox via Game Pass. It just came out last week. So go ahead and check it out. It's $35 to buy the game or enjoy it on Game Pass. You know, that's the joy of Game Pass. You know, you can try games out without having to pay up front. So go ahead and do that. You also have the ability to play the game cooperatively. So, you know, I was messing around with it with my friends. So the best way to explain this game is it reminds me a lot of Divinity Original Sin. In the aspect of you have like that tactical for the way you fight, you take turns. So if you're into that kind of a style of RPG, I think you will greatly enjoy War Tales. It's also, some people have compared it to Mountain Blade, and I've never played Mountain Blade, but a lot of people have compared it to that. So you know, if those are games that you guys enjoy, this is definitely going to be one for you. You get to explore, you get to recruit different people. Now your characters, they do have permadeath on them, so if you make sure you save often. So if you do lose a beloved character, you can go back. Or if you never liked that guy, guess what? Just go to the local tavern, recruit someone new, and have some fun. You know, replace them. So it's got, you know, a lot of customability to how you want to make your game for difficulty wise. It does have a survival aspect that you can either turn down, and that survival aspect is making sure you have food as well as money, because you have to pay your mercenaries as well as you have to keep them fed. And if you're not paying them, you're not feeding them, they get mad and they're gonna leave. All right, so
those traders.
You can lose your beloved characters too because they hate your guts.
So not only could you lose them to permadeath, but you could lose them due to not paying.
For not paying, they're mercenaries. They want money. So,
Bunch of Bologna.
So you can turn down the amount. They do have difficulty settings where you can turn that down, or you can crank it up, as well as the way you choose the game, how you start. Like I started to where there's an option to where you can start the game where you are farmers, which means then you would have more food at the start. So think of Oregon Trail. You know, you can start as a banker, you'd have more money. You can start as a carpenter, you're going to be better at, you know, having supplies to keep your wagon from falling apart. Same kind of aspect. You can be a farmer to have more food at the start, or you could you know, just choose different things. You know, if you want to have more strength, you could be like, you know, or whatever. So it's a good way of doing it. So they take some inspiration from D&D as well as Divinity, and they make it a very addicting, fun game to play. And yeah, I highly recommend you check it out.
All right, great pick from. Oops, wrong button. Great pick from Cool Cat Terry. All right. Let's check in with the chat. Shout out to Back from the Dead. Thank you so much for joining us. You are the real MVP. He says, I was hoping they were going to announce World of Warcraft coming to consoles. Maybe not. I don't know. I hope if it does come to consoles, they don't do what they did with Elder Scrolls Online, where it's different servers. There is no crossplay on Elder Scrolls Online between PC and console. So I hope if it does come to console that it's crossplay enabled. Jacob Novik says, I'm excited for the indie game Evil Nun, The Broken Mask to come to consoles December 7th. Oh, you might want to check that out, Terry. And Black Carde, thank you so much for joining us. You are the real MVP. He says, what's up, guys? What's up, Black Carde? All right, let's talk some quick bits here. So apparently the Microsoft employees were gonna lose their employee benefit of a free Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscription if you were a Microsoft employee, not an Xbox employee, Microsoft employee. And some people were mad about that. I mean, we had a week full of layoffs, and over at Microsoft we had a week of no more Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. But then later on, Phil Spencer came in and said, no, everybody's still going to get, if you're a Microsoft employee, you're still going to get Xbox Game Pass Ultimate on the house. So that made the news for some reason. What in the week of layoffs, of everything we could worry about, Terry, do you think any Microsoft employees were really complaining about losing their Xbox Game Pass Ultimate perk?
I mean, I'm sure they probably were upset about it, but it wasn't anything that you really saw in the news. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like I didn't even know about it until you showed that there was that it happened. So I feel like probably if you're someone who works within one of the buildings, you probably hear a lot of your coworkers,
Mm-hmm.
miffed, but otherwise I feel like outside of that circle, no one's gonna care.
Right. Exactly.
Who cares if you have to, if you don't
I mean, considering I think the starting wage at Microsoft is $125, I think you can afford.
Yeah, I feel like you're like, I don't feel any pity on you crying you can't pay for your subscription when you're making salary. You know what I mean? There are literally people who make significantly less and they still, find ways to, get their subscription. So I mean, boo-hoo, I don't care. Literally, my husband, once upon a time back when we were in college, he worked for Comcast.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Comcast doesn't give their employees free internet. Okay. They give you a nice discount, but you don't get free internet. So I have no sympathy for a Microsoft employee not getting free Game Pass. Like, who cares? Everybody in the world that works at some place usually gets a discount. All right. So, Gretz, you caught up to the rest of us. Okay. So I feel
Welcome back, normie.
I feel no pity for you. All right. So
there you go. Dreadful.
Well, I question, is it regular Game Pass or Game Pass Ultimate?
Game Pass Ultimate.
Right. That's a lot of money.
Yep.
Especially when you live beyond your means, even at 100 plus.
Where you have to live over there, to afford San Francisco and Washington.
Think about that, yeah. 100 plus down here where we're at, 10 years ago, you were banking. Now with the prices of houses and rents, you're barely making it, and that's the thing is where we're at here, they're pushing people out and not realizing that the prices are getting so expensive that people can't afford to live here, which means they can't afford to work here, which means yet again they can't afford to pay anything.
Mm-hmm.
So over there, prices are a lot different. So we have to put in relation to what, just because a certain number, how many New Yorkers and Californians come down here to Florida going, wow, this is so cheap. And it's not cheap for us, but for them, same house over here is 60,000. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So
I still
for
feel
them,
zero pity. Zero pity.
Oh no,
they voted for that.
You could feel zero pity. I'm just putting more perspective on, living beyond your means.
I get what you're saying, but the perspective is they voted for those policies, and that's why they have that problem. They voted for that, so no pity.
Not everybody voted for it.
No, the ones that didn't vote for it, they've left. They've moved to Texas and everywhere else. They've left.
Damn right we did.
So no, they made their bed and now they got a lie in it. So no pity.
Exactly. All right. So that was whoa. I just lost Dreadful. Was that because of me or because of him? I have no idea.
You there?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah. All right.
Don't argue with Terry because she will knock you out.
You got DDoS out of here, Dreadful.
She did. So yeah, I think what I think is basically, it sucks for everybody, even if you can afford it more so than others. When it's something that some companies pay out, like we have benefits that the companies give us, and we have certain benefits that other companies give that we don't get. There's discounts. To each their own when it comes to the companies on how they want to put it out there. But you also got to think about this. it's a numbers game for Microsoft and Xbox. If they lose those numbers, yeah, the money's not coming in, but those are also numbers that they can use to put in how many subscribers they have. Doesn't matter if you're free or not, you're still a subscriber. So think about that. Those terms are probably a little different. And for Microsoft and Xbox as a whole being more the percentage wise the best place to work, it's because they have these benefits, and Game Pass is not the only benefit that's going to make it the best place to work. It's the community that they promote from within. Women have abilities to move up, and it's not just the um, the good old boy foundation and everybody else is out of it. You know what I mean? So they've worked past a lot of that.
Yeah.
So I think there's many reasons why they decided to do that, because obviously it's a huge loss and it would be a bonus in money monetarily to show you, okay, here's where we are not bleeding out. But reality, they're not bleeding out that much. It doesn't cost them that much more to have for their employees to do that. Plus, it's automatic feedback from their employees too. So it's not just they're part of the beta testing. You think about that. They were also part of the original live services that they had, that was Game Pass and Gold back then. They were also the first ones to be part of that. So they're using them just as much as they're getting used for free. So to each their own, but
Yeah.
keep in perspective, there's many situations we don't know of that people are struggling, even if they're making a lot more money than we are and working less.
If I worked, if there's benefits to be had, like if you work at a grocery store, you technically you get some discount at the grocery store. If you work at when I was a busboy, even at a resto, I got discounts on food. Now that I'm more professional, I get different types of things that are more important: 401k, health insurance, things of that, and everything after that to me is like a super perk. So Xbox Game Pass Ultimate being a super perk to me, it's neither here nor there in my opinion. But hey, to some people, it could be everything. I mean, maybe a lot of those employees aren't Xbox gamers, but they just play on their mobile phone. You never know. They're the reason why I can't log into Starfield on the cloud gaming. Who knows? But yeah, to each their own. On to other awesome Twitter news. Guys, did you know that cup noodles will be microwavable for the first time in 50 years thanks to the new cup design? I have been microwaving these for 30 years, guys. I'm just saying, it's now going to be microwavable. I have a feeling I have eaten carcinogenics at this point because I never read the instructions ever to cup noodles. Because I had been cooking them out of the pack and just hot water boil, whatever. Like in my head, I'm like, I don't need no stupid instructions to cook noodles. Noodles are noodles. So, cup noodles. Today's ridiculous Twitter announcement. Terry, cup noodles. Are you baffled by this announcement? That it took them 50 years, and did you microwave it before?
I never really ate them, so I don't know. I'm trying to think. I think I've had them at least once in my life, but yeah, it's not really something I eat. But I feel like, but I'm also the type of person where I read directions and I always look to see what's microwavable, what isn't. And I'm also the person who, for 5 years, made it to where we had no microwave in our house because I wanted to change the eating habits of the people in my household because they were eating nothing but microwavable junk. So I got rid of the microwave on purpose to force them to eat better, and it worked. Yeah, the microwaves are not a good thing. They allow us to eat a lot more bad food. I really have no opinion on it. I feel like I would look at the container. And if I feel like it was supposed to melt, then I wouldn't microwave it, So I really don't know.
All right, well, there you go. Dreadpool, have you microwaved these?
No, I can't say I've actually eaten any. I've had variations of microwavable foods that are capable to be microwaved. But when it comes to styrofoam. I know you've been eating a lot of BPA.
Yeah.
You know, so that might explain a little bit of Axel.
Oh.
But
Oh. Going for my
yeah,
handicap.
you kind of have to. You kind of have to pay attention to what you're eating and nuking and microwaving.
It might go to your ex army, right?
Yeah.
That's probably why. Don't they eat crayons now or something?
That's
So-
Marines, first of
That's
all.
Marines.
Is it?
First,
Is it?
yeah.
I don't even know. So
Marines,
Yeah.
they can taste the colors.
they can taste the colors. Like, I don't even know, man.
Axel 1324 cup noodles now without melted styrofoam taste. They never melted.
So, but no, the thing is, it's just like any tool. You have to use it properly. You know, microwaves
Oh
are
man,
a
I'm getting
tool,
roasted out here.
and you got to use it properly. You know, you don't. Ironically, you can put metal in microwaves. It's just you can't put metal in plates in microwaves. That's what causes explosions. So you can actually cook certain foods in metal or reheat foods in metal. Let's say that, not say cook, reheat
Yeah.
in metal tins and stuff, and you shouldn't have a problem. It's also the type of microwave. So, you know, just like eating healthy, if you're gonna, I don't know, steam broccoli, but yet you're gonna put a whole bunch of salt and all this other bad stuff in there for you. So what was the point of eating healthy if you're already gonna, you know, cook it healthy and everything, and then just reverse it? So it's all the tools that you use. You got to use it the right way, and it's nice to see that Couple Noodles is, after 50 years, figured out how to redo the cup design to minimize the BPA intake. Thank you for that.
All right. Well, you know what? Not only did I microwave these, but I also microwaved them overseas. So I got what is it? BPA
BPA
and MSG. BPA and MSG in this system, baby.
Hey, MSG is good.
Yeah.
MSG it was a misdirection because they thought that MSG was bad. MSG now is actually a little bit is chemically made versus the MSG from the seaweed from back in those days.
Look, MSG. All I know is
MSG is good.
that the people who eat seaweed live longer than the people that don't. Okay. Just saying. So yeah, all right, there you go. Cup noodles, the ridiculous, just a little fun topic. Nothing to it, really, guys. So let's move on to our next topic here. Just a little fun, guys. Kind of breaking the news in here. And oh my gosh.
Cup of noodle sucks. Go for ramen.
You just haven't had the right cup noodle, man.
Oh, we get the spicy stuff too.
Yeah.
Spicy noodles.
Authentic ramen, I can get behind. Not that square packet crap. Don't do that.
I need ramen. I can cook it all.
My daughter decided she's gonna start eating that stuff raw.
What, ramen?
Yeah.
I did that when I was young too. Yeah, I went through the raw phase as well. I went through the raw phase as well.
That's nasty. That's
Nasty.
nasty. That's nasty.
Yeah. Where's that dealer when you need
I was
it?
gonna say the
Also, be
Coke and
careful
Death
with that stuff,
dealer.
though.
That's nasty.
Be careful with that stuff, because yeah, like those fake noodles like that, they're actually more harmful to women than men.
Well, yeah, because you guys got the oven. So yeah. Let's see. Moving on to news. So, last week we talked about layoffs at PlayStation, but it has hit a studio that is beloved by a lot of people and has a lot of people talking now. Now, Noof Nukem did allude to this last week, but it broke out that there were layoffs at Bungie, and not just layoffs of like contractors and low-level employees. Bungie laid off some pretty heavy hitters at their studio. People who had been with the studio from the beginning, people who had been with the studio for over 10 years. I mean, they hit a lot of people. So Destiny got hit with layoffs. And due to the layoff, the reason they gave, so let's read this over here, right? Mass layoffs. After the news of mass layoffs at Bungie, CEO Pete Parsons conducted a meeting to address the situation. According to a report by IGN earlier this week, he allegedly told the remaining employees that the company had retained the right people to continue the work on Destiny 2. And according to IGN, Parsons informed employees that the reason for layoffs was primarily due to the underperformance of Destiny 2 over the last year and lower than expected pre-orders for the final shape. I have opinions, but let's go to this reason. Terry, this is the reason why they laid people off. Okay, less money, I get it. But the people they laid off, I mean, they hit, where's my note? They hit people in the community department, social media department, marketing department, publishing department, art department, quality assurance department, support departments, legal departments, HR departments, and production. So actual game developers. Amongst those was famous composer Michael Salvatore and the composer as well of the original Destiny 2 soundtrack, Michael Seacrest. Terry, what do you think about this?
Find it funny. Not funny for the people that lost their jobs, but funny in general because Bungie's kind of been on one, so I kind of see this as karma. But I feel like for them to be getting rid of people that have been there for that long, this is more of a money issue. And it would make more sense to go up to them because they would make more. So that's more in the budget they would free up, getting rid of them versus getting rid of like the 1 year employees that you make the lowest amount, get rid of people that make the highest amount. They're really trying to, get some money back in if they're hurting or something. But like, I don't really know. I don't really know what's going on. All I know is, at first people thought that this was Sony's thing, but no, Bungie did this to themselves. So, I don't know. Sony might be rethinking their situation, now that, this is happening, this might not have been the best buy, but, we'll have to see what happens in the future with what they hopefully release, if they release anything, who knows. But, it's definitely not good for the people who lost their jobs. That's never a good thing. But at the same time, Bungie, Bungie is one of those companies where they had like this really big raging ego for a long time, and they would make all these claims and then they would not deliver on any of those claims. And so I just see this as, getting their just desserts, like I understand that they kind of had some bad blood with Microsoft. So, so that's the whole thing where they wanted to stay independent. They bragged about, we're independent. We're going to stay independent. But then they let themselves get bought by Sony. So what about bragging about being independent?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Screw them. I don't care about Bungie. Destiny was a good game. It's fallen off. It really has. Whenever they do special events, they're not balanced at all. It's always pretty much if you play, I forgot, it's been so long since I played, but Hunter class has always been the class that is
OP.
Very OP. And when you do the events, I forgot what they call it, but they have that event that they do where it's the hunters, it's the hunters versus the warlocks versus the Titans or whatever, and the Titans always lose.
The Titan, you cannot win as a Titan. I know because I played primary Titan.
It has the fewest amount of players. Everyone's going to play whichever is the OP. You have all your meta players, right? So they want the best and the most powerful. So it makes the game super unfair. And if you're somebody who doesn't want to play a hunter, you're not going to play the hunter, and now you're never going to have fun with the game because they're intentionally making the game not fun for you. So screw them. You don't care about your players. Your game modes are broken. They're not balanced. They're unfair, and you constantly reward the bad players. And then they've made their game very political, and it's turning people off. And so of course people aren't pre-ordering the game anymore. You've alienated a large amount of your player base because of all the stuff you've been doing within your game, as well as politically. And you don't do that. Because even if people disagree with your politics, they their money is the same as anybody else's, so why alienate them? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like Michael Jordan even said that, that he doesn't care what your political siding is with, because he still your money is just as good. So that's why he never took sides with his shoes. He didn't care. Your money was still good. And Michael Jordan was like the only one that did that. Whereas companies today pick sides. It's like, don't pick sides.
Yeah.
You
Are
lose
you
half
here to make money, or are you here to run for office? One
Yeah,
of the two.
exactly. You want to
Yeah.
make money, so why alienate half of your consumers? It's just bad business. So, and that's literally what's happening to Bungie right now. Is a lot of bad business, and so screw them. And hopefully those people find new work somewhere else where they're going to be treated better. And because screw Bungie.
Yeah. So the Dreadpool. I'm just gonna call. So the Lightfall, the latest expansion, is the seventh expansion in Destiny 2. It is part of the Light and Darkness saga, and the final shape is supposed to be the end of that. What made me upset about Bungie, what got me off of Bungie, is that Curse of Osiris, Warmind, and Forsaken events, if you didn't play them when they were after Forsaken, if you didn't play those, you're never going to play them. And if you remember, Forsaken is where they killed off Cade 6. You're never going to experience that again. So it's one of those. I want to say Forsaken is where they killed off Cade 6. It's either Forsaken or Shadowkeep. I want to say it's Forsaken, where all the prisoners escaped and they killed Cade 6 permanently. And the fact that if you didn't buy that expansion before the next expansion, you're screwed, because they deleted it after that. And I hate it when they remove content, like especially content you paid for. Like I got the first 2 expansions and I was going to get the third, but after I found out they were going to delete the content, I stopped buying expansions. Like, why am I paying for what you're going to delete? I don't like that. And Destiny 2, when they do expansions, it's like a 4 or 5 hour story, like 3 new strikes, 1 new it's not called a strike, what's it called? Raid. 1 new raid, and when the new raids come, they get rid of the old raids, and that makes me so upset. So that's why I got off of Destiny, is because they're not keeping the content you pay for. And so after doing that 7 times, it's a wonder why people are leaving. They wonder why. Dreadful, take it away before I get heated here.
Yes, taking away content that is paid for is a definite no-no, and and they brushed it under the bus. They've done this before. So when they're doing stuff like this, it puts a bad taste in the community when it comes to that, and they protested against that, and the community right now is protesting against this too, because this part here, yes, it's only 8% of the workforce, which is about 1,000 employees. Okay, so 8% is nothing; it's minuscule, but to those 1,000 employees, it's a big deal.
That's the wrong number. It should be 100 employees.
Was it 100?
Did I put an extra zero on there? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. 100 employees. I'm sorry. There's an
I
extra
was gonna
zero
say,
in my
wow,
notes.
because I'm sitting there adding up the math. I was like, wow, they had a lot more employees than I thought.
Yeah.
But still, even at 100 employees, that's a lot of people to lose. But you're looking at certain key numbers here. There's a lot of things that are repetitious, like marketing, the publishing part of it, the legal, HR, production. When you look at all that, they are owned by Sony.
They
And
are.
Sony's, so why do they need the extra? And so they're looking at cutting costs when they have that extra that's coming from Sony anyway. So those are unfortunate positions for those employees to be in, to lose their job, because there's already something like that in another position and underneath the bigger umbrella. So when you see that, it makes sense. And this is also the time of year a lot of companies start basically thinning out the herd, right? Because after the new year, the fiscal year.
Yeah, in
That's when they,
October. Yeah.
yep, that's when they start doing a lot of hiring. A lot of, I mean, there's companies, and I kid you not, we have in my 30 plus years where I'm at, my company has had um, stoppage of purchasing pens, paper clips, staples, just the basic necessities. And and we're like, what do you mean we don't have any pens? We're not allowed to
Mhm.
buy any pens. They're also cutting positions out. They're letting go people. The positions don't exist anymore, so those people are being let go, right?
Mhm.
So when they do this is normally at towards the end of the year, so that way they have the numbers. They already know what their predictions are, and they have to answer to a higher power, and that's the stockholders. So unfortunately, when it comes to that, this is what's going to happen. So again, I feel bad for those employees, but this is the standard business. It is what it is. And then next year, all those pens that we were neglected, we'll have thousands that we don't even need.
Mhm.
So I mean, imagine a company not buying TP, and yet you have restrooms for your employees, but you don't have TP for them.
I would
Imagine
quit.
something like that,
I would
okay?
quit, man.
Right? But
Yeah.
this is stuff that happens in the industries, and it's not just this industry. It's not just that, and it's just a corporate thing that happens. Um, Hopefully, nobody does not buy any toilet paper. But imagine, when you're being told to cut back on all these expenses because you're trying to save up these numbers. So
Yeah.
this is part of the thing, and unfortunately, now think about it this way: what happened when 343 let go people? I can't believe Xbox did that. I can't believe this everything
Mhm.
coordinates with Xbox. Yes, this was a decision based on Bungie, but it's also something I'm sure was influenced by Sony slash PlayStation.
Yeah.
So they said that they weren't firing anybody, but guess what? Time has passed. They are owned. Even if they're operating on their own, they're
That's
still
right. They
owned. They
did tweet
still
out
have
that they weren't going to fire anybody over a year ago, though.
yeah, they paid
So,
extra to make sure that nobody quit.
yeah.
Because so when you look at that, okay, time has passed. They're falling underneath the bigger umbrella more and more so than
Hmm.
having their own umbrella. And this is one of those cases. So again, it's an unfortunate thing, but it is what it is. And hopefully those people find a new position somewhere to keep their livelihood going and family supported.
So here's what I'll say about Bungie. I feel that Bungie has been mismanaged since they left Xbox. And I don't mean that in a mean way. They still put out fantastic games, even through the mismanagement. And I don't mean mismanagement of their people, I mean mismanagement of their financial resources. Okay. Because it was a big deal that Bungie separated from Xbox because they wanted to do their own thing. They wanted to make Destiny, right? But Destiny came out under the brand of Activision. And for those years that Bungie was with Activision, after they left Activision, after they put out the quote unquote 3 games, so Destiny 1, Destiny 2, and they never put out the 3rd game, they separated from Activision. And even Activision said that they would consistently have to devote more studios to help Bungie to keep a pace out for their live service because their engine was not good for live service. And so Destiny's not on their own, and they're like, oh yeah, we're going to be a publisher now. We're going to self-publish and publish other people. Bungie never published anything other than their own stuff. Anybody recall them publishing anything else?
Nope.
No, exactly. Um,
Too busy doing.
yeah. And so, I don't want to say they're a one-trick pony right now, but they kind of are, they gave me my favorite franchise, which is Halo. But they sold that to Microsoft. Destiny is fantastic. It's a great shooter. I understand the storyline. I love the gameplay. I love the raids. I love the strikes. I love the challenge. I hate the PvP. but it's not enough. Like the game is not enough to keep me in. It's not MMO enough with long stories without buying 7 expansions worth. And at that, the first 3 are gone now. So you're shortening the game. And Microsoft was interested in buying Bungie again, but they didn't want to pay the money that Bungie wanted, which was the 3.8, I think. I believe they were bought for over $3 billion. Microsoft did not believe that they were worth that much, and Sony did. So now Bungie is over on Sony's side, and now come to find out they have financial targets and they miss it by 45%. How do you do that?
Well,
How do you not know the beat of your gamers enough to know that you're going to miss projections by 45%? Why do you commit to something so high you can't achieve?
Well, here's the other additive.
Did the CEO Parsons promise it? And is he just like, oh yeah, but Destiny's amazing. People are gonna come. People are gonna come. Once we go over to Sony, we're gonna get more players. And maybe it never happened. It's just, I believe that Bungie does this to themselves often and historically.
Yeah, here's another additive, right? The reason Microsoft also knew or Xbox also knew what the next game was, and they passed on that next game. That's why Sony picked them up, because they knew what the next game was.
Marathon.
Yep. They saw what was going on, and Marathon was the game. And where's the game now? It's delayed.
Yeah.
So all those people that paid for the Destiny, not all, but a lot of people that paid for this expansion, and with all this, the firings and all this, or the layoffs, or whatever you want to call it, a lot of people returned their money.
Yeah, so
return the pre-order.
They're canceling the pre-orders for Final Shape. It got delayed by a year to February 2024 to June 2024, so delayed a few months. And Marathon is now releasing in 2025. And yeah, it's just under lower than expected pre-orders. The gamers talk, whether you think of it or not, right? We are very social creatures. We're just kind of more technologically social creatures. We talk to one another, right? And we hear through the grapevines of what's happening. We watch the news. We go to our subreddits, or wherever you want to get your news from, Twitter, wherever, and we talk and we react. At the end of the day, it's our money. And as I said, I don't like that these stories, that content gets removed. I hate that the most of anything. If you're running a live service game and there is story content, I should always be able to play that story content, especially if I paid for it. The fact that I paid for Warmind and what's the other one? The Curse of Osiris and Warmind, and I can no longer play those. The fact that I never got a chance to play through the story of Forsaken. I played Beyond Light and I played Lightfall. I played Beyond Light and I played The Witch Queen. And for the amount of money I paid for those to not... I played Beyond Light, not The Witch Queen. I played Beyond Light, and for the amount of money I paid for that to be as short as it was, I'm sorry, that's a ripoff. That is a ripoff. And, people are coming around to it. And I'm not going to say that this is easy. I'm not going to say that these developers aren't working hard. But you also got to think about, what is your customer willing to pay for? And I think it's become obvious that the customers are not willing to pay for what you're delivering. They need more. Whether you want to accept that or not, it's the reality of it. We need more. Because other live service games are giving us more bang for our buck. And gamers love it when they get bangs for the buck. You know what I mean? So it's unfortunate that these layoffs happen, but I do believe that it is due to Bungie's own... I want to say that they're tone deaf to their audience. They are 100% tone deaf. They might have all these Twitch streamers or whatever, that are on there, and yeah, look at that. We haven't all these Twitch streamers are saying great things about the game, blah 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 blah. But the gamers, that Twitch streamer is not 10,000 users. If 10,000 users leave for one Twitch streamer, that's not good business. That's 10,000 people that are not going to play your game. Just saying. All right, sorry. I am upset about this. I'm upset at Bungie. I'm upset that these hardworking people lose their jobs. I'm upset that they laid off some legendary folks in the industry. I am upset at the reasons why, and I'm upset that they never once considered reducing their executive pays to try to keep some of these employees. Like, when Nintendo with the Wii U was having problems, executives cut their salaries by 50% to not have layoffs. Talk about heroes, All right, so let's check in with the chat real quick. Let's see. Shout out to Ice Queen Gaming. Thank you so much for joining us. You are the real MVP. She says, I've decided to stop playing Destiny 2 because I'm getting fed up with playing it right now. Yeah. I wish expand on that. Tell us what makes you mad. Let's see. Back from the Dead says, they have reintroduced the mission where Cade 6 dies, but not the entire story in Forsaken. They stopped removing expansion content for the last 4 years of expansions. Kind of too little too late, in my opinion. Like, I already paid for Warmind and Curse of Osiris. Where's my stuff that I paid for?
There's also no point in buying it because they always give it to you for free later anyway. So like, why?
Well, I mean, when the new expansion comes, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, why? I mean, if you're patient enough, just get it free.
I guess. Let's see. I'll say fire Bungie CEO. He's evil, very evil from what that came out. It's his studio. He'll run it how he feels, and the only people at this point that can fire him are Sony. And missing your targets by 45%.
He's running it into the ground.
That's a good way to get in hot water with your new overlords. Sorry about that. I need some water. Let's see. Silk Slayer says, in hindsight, maybe Bungie wasn't ever all that great. Oh, no, they were. They are. They still make great shooters.
Shooter. They make one game.
Yeah, shooter. No, well, they made Halo, the franchise. They can tell stories.
They don't. Yes, but they don't do anything. Like they've become the Rockstar. They're got one thing going on for them. That's Destiny, and so like.
Yeah.
They've become their own meme.
Their own meme, yeah. So, Ice Cream Gaming says, I canceled my pre-order for Destiny 2, the final shape, and I got my money back. So there you go. She's one of those. Six Slayer says, Microsoft was looking to get rid of them on realizing they kept those who wanted to keep working on Halo and let the rest leave with their blessings. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Let's see. The Bungie devs even begged the CEO to have less microtransactions in Destinies 2. Yeah, I remember that. That silver currency is what it's called. It's atrocious. That's all I'll say. All right. Moving on to our next topic. We're going to skip one and go keep it on the bad news. Xbox bad Brazil. So I saw a video, a TikTok, if you will. When the Xbox Series S came out at such an affordable price that regular folk were finally able to buy a brand new console, which is unheard of in Brazil, right? And the big reason was that for the price. Now, I don't know why Xbox Brazil is doing what they do, right? I don't know why they are raising the prices the way they do. So I have no idea what is creating these price hikes, if you will. But I think they are losing a very important market, a market that Xbox dominates in, if I'm being honest. Like, there's not very many places Xbox dominates in, but Brazil is one of them. And And I know this because XO was held in Brazil. Brazil loves Xbox, but I feel like Xbox is not returning the love with these prices. So just for some context, guys, let me find my notes here. The price hike, the cost of an Xbox Series S in American dollars is $734.38 for a Series S. The price of an Xbox Series X in American dollars is $938.44. Wow. Now, they reduced the price back down on the Xbox Series S to, I believe, $500 American dollars. But from what I hear, that price change is only temporary. Dreadpool, would you be an Xbox gamer if you paid $734 for a Series S, or the option, we always want the best, $938 for a Series X? Now, remember, there's a competition out there. There's a PlayStation available that plays almost the same games. Take it away, Dreadpool.
Well, when you look at it, did you guys forget that there's a tariff tax when it comes to importing?
Yes. They pay a lot for
They
imports on tax
pay
over there.
double pretty
Mhm.
much the amount. So unfortunately, that's not an Xbox doing. That's Brazilian government doing. So see right there, 60% import
Mhm.
taxes. So unfortunately, that's a government doing. So whether or not, and I know they increased the price of the Series S, but they also brought it back down. But again, right now with fluctuations in pricing, and don't forget there's issues with development costs, right? Or I'm sorry, not development, production costs. That's why we haven't seen any consoles go down in price, because those production costs are still so high. Normally, production costs start dropping once you start ordering so many units, and because the first initial set of units for those dies to be created to make these consoles are astronomical. After that, it's purely profit. So that's why once you do that, you do your next set of orders down, so many years down the line, and that's the next set of contracts. The prices go down because they don't have to rebuild the dies, and sometimes they do redo some of the dies for like improvements, or the fact that you can't get those components to put in these consoles. Okay, so when that happens, cool, prices go down. They're able to cut it out a little bit and make some profit still, and yet sell it to us for even cheaper, which means more consoles are getting out there and sold and so forth, right? We haven't seen this generation happen at all. You look at Sony; they jacked up the price for their console, right?
Yeah.
Even though they redid it, it's still the prices are up
the
there,
price of everything.
right? So it's not an Xbox thing. It's not a Sony thing. It stems from production first and foremost. And after that, unfortunately, Brazil has to deal with their income tax, their import tax, all the other taxes that they add on, all these tariffs that are put on them, that they're putting on technology that's coming in. So when all this is going on, it makes it look, oh, Xbox is bad. It's not Xbox being bad. They have to adjust for inflation. They have to adjust for currency conversions. When prices are going up and down different places, and they have to adjust appropriately. It is what it is, and it's unfortunate, and I feel bad for those people. And they are hardcore Xbox players down there. And those are hardcore fans of Xbox, and they're willing to pay whatever. And you've seen how some of the areas are so less than third world country, and yet those people have huge hearts, and they make do with what they have, and they will support whatever they believe in, and and some of them still figure out how to make it and get Xboxes. So kudos to them for living like that and still managing to enjoy life and enjoy gaming and still, to be a fan. But the prices, again, we need to take it to the governments and so forth to bring the cost down. These import taxes are horrific. You're not even helping anybody, right? They're still living subpar than they should be, and everybody should have food on the table. Everybody should have this, and I understand a console is
Luxury.
a luxury for this, but at the same time, so is going to the movies. Movies are a luxury, but not everybody can afford it, especially when you have kids. So what do? You stay home and you buy a DVD and you all watch it, so that's, you have to pick and choose. So if we're going to call out anybody, let's not just call out Xbox. Let's call out Sony. Let's call it Nintendo. Oh, let's call it the Brazilian government for what they're doing to their people. So it's not just one thing. Let's call it to the production, right? Those that are producing these consoles. Let's call them out for still jacking up the prices. So the pandemic is still yet to leave us. I still have products that I have to put in, and it's an indefinite back order today for stuff that I use in my industry. Indefinite back order, and we still have buildings that are going up regardless of these items, and we need these items to open these buildings. What are you supposed to do? You make do with what you have, and hopefully production starts happening. We can get everything else but one particular item from them. And then it's like every week we get an update, and it's going to be on this day, and then it falls back a week, then it comes back up a week, and then it goes back a month, and it goes back up a week, and we still, we haven't had it, and this is from the company itself that's selling it to us, and we can't even buy this product, and we're not the only ones buying this product. So when you look at it, it's production that is causing a lot of this issue. It's the money, the currency exchanges is causing some of this issue. Yes, is it Xbox's fault? I'm sure it probably is. They probably want some sort of less than so much of a percentage of loss. So what do? Give everything away for free? Give a $500 console away for free? They're not going to do that just because their country is going to charge them 60% plus. You know what I mean? So it is what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. Terry, what do you think about these prices in Brazil?
Okay, so I do agree with what Dreadful Pool was saying with like the tariffs and stuff, because they do pay a lot on importing.
Yes.
So that's definitely a Brazil problem. Also, I feel right now the physical sales are at the lowest when it comes to Latin America and Brazil, and so they were going. Microsoft had already stated they were going to stop physical sales over there and pull the plug. They're not going to even bother shipping the stuff there because no one buys it. So that could be another reason why they would want to push to have their digital console match the PlayStation digital console, so that they can, even the playing field, compete with their competitor at the same price, and no one's buying physical stuff. So try to push sales on the digital consoles. So I mean, it's business. It's business. So, but yeah, I think the biggest issue is definitely just the tariffs are what's really biting them. But from the business aspect, them getting rid of the physical stuff and pushing their digital console, it's business. It makes sense.
Yeah. It's I wouldn't buy a gaming console for $700 here. Just saying here.
We said that back in the day when we were paying $300 a console.
Yeah.
And what are we doing? We're paying $500 now.
Yeah, but I feel that for $700, now I should be able to get something a lot better. But a console, I've always understood that it would have limitations. I've always understood that it was not going to be like a PC. I understood I wasn't getting the best, but I was getting a great deal, is what I've always understood. I was getting into the gaming ecosystem at a fair price, right? Um, so to pay $700 for a Series S, it just makes no sense to me. Now, I guess that 60% tariff is hitting them hard, but even at 60%, $700, you're looking at what, knocking $440 of it. So yeah, it's still $350. So they raised the price to $360 to $360. So instead of it being the $250 like it is here, they raised it $100 to $350. If you do the math. So the console is still expensive. Do I think $350 is a lot of money for a console? The Series S, I don't think it is. I think, especially if it's the Series S Black, but for Series S White, I think 300 is kind of like the top dollar I would give for it. So for a brand new one, of course. So I feel bad for people. I do feel bad for them having to pay this much for a gaming hobby. But as when you're that poor, when you're like that, gaming is not your primary concern, nor is it your primary hobby. There a lot of children out in Brazil are still going outside, touching grass because it's a lot cheaper and free.
That's why soccer is a huge sport.
Huge. Yeah. Huge, exactly. And so yeah, I think for somewhere like Brazil, a developing nation that hosted the Olympics, that had to pay all that money, that basically hosting the Olympics is like a death sentence for cities. Because it's so expensive. For Brazil, who is, as I said, a developing nation, gaming is not up on the list of priorities for anybody. But those few fans that they do have in Brazil, they are hardcore fans, and I really want Xbox to take care of them. Me being a Latin American, I'm not Brazilian, but I do want Latin America to be thought of by Xbox. And I feel like Brazil was always that kind of, like, Xbox is so popular in Brazil, it's number one in Brazil. Like, between you and me, even during the Xbox One, there was more Xbox Ones in Brazil than there were PlayStation 4s. So, I mean, Brazil has always represented, right? At least that's the tone that I always got from Brazil. So I kind of hope Xbox continues to take care of that region, continues to invest in the region, and that the gamers there find a way to get their Xboxes. Just saying.
Well, see, and that's part of the beauty of where they're going, where you can play anywhere.
Yeah,
So
it's
it's
called
not
cloud
just
gaming.
Yeah.
It's going to help them out a lot.
Yeah, because they do have those mobile cellular devices.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, they do. So
Yeah,
maybe that's where
TVs.
their Xbox is shifting their priorities to, building some cloud computing centers.
Well, don't forget they even had that stream box that was going to be, theoretical $50 to $100 box that
I
they
just
can
don't see
stream.
that.
No, I'm just saying they were looking into doing that. So
Yeah.
when you look at it, they were looking at more than just one thing, and it's not the cell phone market because the Asian market has better infrastructure. There's many facets as to why we look at a lot of things, and it's funny how a lot of times the media focuses on one little thing and then makes a big deal out of it and then blows it up that oh, look at this, woe is them, I can't believe this, bad Xbox. But any company what they do is their due diligence for the demographic and the markets that they're in. So they don't just look at one thing. They look at all this thing, all the markets. They look at all the demographics that they are trying to sell to. So if you miss out on the sale, look at Japan. They've been trying so hard and never really committed to it. Now they are. Now they're pushing out there to sell to Japan. They're getting Japanese developers so that way there's a Japanese market, not just those, but those that are into Japanese style games.
Mm-hmm.
So your JRPGs are going to be very well represented on this side. Other games that Japanese market are into, like the cutesy shmups that they have. You
Yeah.
know, not a lot of gamers on this side play that, but there are people that are fans of those and hunt those Japanese imports so they can play those type of games. So you don't look at one market, you look at the whole the whole globe as the market itself. So yes, you're going to pinpoint certain things, but it's not just for one market. You're going to do it for all of it. So the whole um narrative of, oh look, they're leaving these guys out. It's not that they're leaving them out. They probably just can't speak on it because I can't say something for my company because I don't know what other people have in store, and maybe they have something planned,
Mm-hmm.
and the spokesperson just cannot say what they don't know, and maybe they're being told to hush up for now until they can better articulate what they want to say, because anything you say is misconstrued. Look at Phil Spencer. He's very articulate with what
Mm-hmm.
he says. He doesn't just spew out whatever, because anything that Phil Spencer says will be taken and flipped around. And now here's a whole new narrative that he never even said. It's taken out of context, and this could be the same thing. So I'm not sticking up for them. They do need to say something, but again, you have to be a little bit more realistic that they need to figure out what they are going to say and what they are doing to support the Brazilian market.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just one thing. There's many different facets that we have to pay attention to,
Mm-hmm.
and people forget that.
Yeah, definitely agree with everything you said there. Let's check in with the iconic chat. Jacob Novik says, Brazil has 60% import taxes, and the new regime, I understand people are angry, but they really need to stop spamming 100,000 times in each comment section on Twitter. I'm not defending the high price, by the way. Yeah, absolutely. And let's see. Doggy Dog says, I remember when the 3DO was $700 at launch. That thing did not last long. No, there was no reason to get a 3DO. Yeah, and of course, Jacob Novik brings it up. There's another option for Xbox beside the console price, and that's sadly to leave the Brazil market. Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens with Brazil. Hopefully, Xbox takes care of them. But on to good news. Enough bad news. Bringing the mood down, Terry. Let's bring the mood back up. Max Payne 1 and 2 Remake have entered production readiness stage. This, of course, comes from Remedy Entertainment, the makers of Quantum Break. The makers of, obviously, Max Payne now, but also Control and and I think they just did the Alan Wake. So Remedy firing on a lot of cylinders here. Max Payne 1 and 2 entering production readiness. So if you remember, Max Payne was very famous detective, and it led into a bullet time style of shooting that was very, very fun. Terry, are you interested in Max Payne 1 and 2 Remake?
I've actually never played Max Payne, so it would be a way to introduce me to it. So I'm interested in it, but at the same time, being that Remedy's doing it, I'm not so interested in doing it. It really depends on how they go about doing it, to be honest. I'm not a fan of the mechanics that they did for Control or for was it Quantum Break or whatever. I didn't like them. Yeah, I was not a fan of those games. So it's going to depend on how well they do. I've heard great things about Alan Wake 2. People are quite pleased with that game, so that's good. So I mean, it's possible they could do a really good job with Max Payne 1 and 2. They could, but
Yeah.
I'd have to wait and see first before I put any bets on it, because looking at the style of games they make,
Mhm.
I'm not interested in Remedy.
Okay, not interested in Remedy. Dreadpool, Max Payne 1 and 2.
Yes. 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 Let's do this. I want to
Let's
see
do
how they do it, how they pull it off.
There you go. He wants to see how they do it.
This is one of those games that is completely old enough. The controls weren't that bad. They weren't tanky enough, but they could have been better. The camera work could have been better.
Mhm.
But the graphics were still, kind of subpar. And to do a remake, I'm all about it. Let's see them do something historic with it.
Yeah.
Resident Evil is going to be one of the ones that we go back to. The way they did Resident Evil 2 and so forth.
Mhm.
It's historic, and this will be one of those games that can be historic again.
That's right. And don't forget, Remedy is using the mesh shaders. Finally, someone's using them.
Right?
And Xbox is taking full advantage of those. Suck it, Blue Team, with your antiquated shaders. What are they called? Pinpoint shaders, or what do they call it? Primary shaders. Whatever it's called, old shaders. Mesh shaders are now coming in. So, yeah, get that RDNA 2 technology out there. Cannot wait to see it, especially that bullet time gameplay. Fire.
Yeah.
I agree with RWK88 here. Max Payne is fire. He calls them forward shaders. Yeah. No. Thank you so much, RWK88. Yeah. So hopefully Max Payne remake coming along. It'll still be a way out, but it is a collaboration here. You can see between Rockstar, who owns Max Payne, and Remedy. So Remedy, being the independent studio that they have been contracted by Rockstar to redo these remakes. And notice that they're only remaking 1 and 2, not 3, because 3 took such a left turn from the 1 and 2 storylines that it was heavily criticized. Some people love it, some people hate it. It's very polarizing, but I know everybody I know loves 1 and 2. So I cannot wait. I cannot wait for Max Payne. I cannot wait for that bullet time. Terry, you should definitely play it. You should definitely play it. 9 out of 10 gamers recommend it. You should definitely play
9 out of 10.
Yeah, 9 out
I
of
mean,
10.
it's one of those games that's kind of been on my radar, but backlog and all that. So I'm aware of the game and I've heard great things about it. It's just one of those I just never got around to. So.
Yeah.
It's very psychological.
Mm-hmm.
If you when you play it, so there's
the poor man is broken, Terry, and you got to help him solve a crime.
Yeah, it's just it is very psychological when it comes to certain things. Yeah, you definitely need experience.
Ahead of its time.
Yeah, it definitely was,
Mm-hmm.
and it still is.
Is it still playable on consoles now, or is it one of those that's not backwards?
I believe it's BC.
I want to say it's BC.
I thought I bought them.
Is Max Payne backwards
I
compatible
swear
on
I thought
Xbox?
I bought them.
Yes, according to 5 sources.
Okay. Well, I might have to give them a try to see if I like them, because I would hate for them if they did do a lot of changes on the new one, then I wouldn't have a good representation of what the series is like. You know what I mean?
So
think
this is coming from the website Payne Reactor. Max Payne games are now backwards compatible on Xbox. The offline components are off, so multiplayer is off. But Max Payne 1, 2, and 3 are all backwards compatible. They also support FPS boosts. They do not support FPS boosts, so they are just pure backwards compatible.
Okay.
So there you go. There's actually a website called Payne Reactor. That is something.
I'll have to check it out.
You know this is by someone who's a fan. I gotta show this. Look at this. Payne Reactor. Wow. So yeah, this guy is a Max Payne fan to the max. So yeah. All right, guys. So I wanted to end on that one because it's a bit of happy news. Hopefully, we've been going at this for almost 3 hours, guys. And I think it's time to get on out of here. But of course, we wouldn't be able to do this show without you guys, the chat. That's why you guys, the chat, will always be the MVP to any of the shows here on the Iconic Video Games channel. With that being said, have yourselves a fantastic Sunday, everybody. I'm Axel1324.
I'm Cool Cat Terry.
And I'm Dreadpool.
Ghost Pool. All right. And we'll talk to you guys next week. Bye, everybody.